faculty, Geeta madam. Geeta madam need not need any introduction. She is one of the finest faculty from Pune region. She's also has vast experience in insurance industry. She has dealt with underwriting, claims, accounts, in charge marketing. She is also visiting faculty at NIA Pune. Now, taking further time, I request Geeta madam to take over and start the lecture. Thank you.
Good morning. There's already little delay, so we start the session. I think fire engineering subject everybody is opting for, and fire generally underwriting claims or accepting the proposals, everybody is doing. But from the exam point of view, what is important is how well we know the terms and conditions, clauses, exclusions of the policy. If we see in depth, understand the coverage exclusion of fire policy, then it is very easy to score in fire department. So we start the session with best wishes to all.
Ma'am, you are on mute. Ma'am, you are on mute.
Yes, just can you see the screen presentation?
Yes, yes. It will be great if it will be full screen.
Yes, yes. Just making it full screen.
Yeah.
Stop share.
Ma'am, it just go back. Just go back. Back. Yeah. Press F5. Just press F5. Is it coming? If not, then there is a right bottom. Just right bottom ला खालती असेल बघा तिथे. हा खालती अजून थोडं लेफ्ट ला जा. मायनस साइनच्या बाजूला आहे ना सिग्नेचर तिथे. अजून थोडं हा ते हा. Yeah.
Okay. Now you can see the presentation clearly.
Yes.
Okay, we are seeing fire insurance. Examples of insurable property. We go through. We will be stressing on the points which are important from the exam point of view. Right. So, building electrical installation contents goods in open and pipelines including contents located inside or outside the compound. Generally, what we see is building and contents are covered, but even pipelines including the contents located inside or outside the compound also can be covered under the fire policy. Now, basis of sum insured, market value or reinstatement value. Now, first what we are going to do is we go as per the SFSP terms and conditions. And then when we come to the new policies, Laghu and Sukshma, then we see the comparison between the SFSP and Laghu Sukshma policies. Because though Laghu Sukshma policies have been introduced, yet SFSP policies we know are there for 50 crores and above. So we have to understand the terms and condition as per SFSP also. So basis of sum insured is either market value or reinstatement value. Market value sum insured is nothing but the depreciated value of the property. Reinstatement value is the value of the property. We can say that today's value of the property without any depreciation. So under SFSP, we have the option whether you have it on market value or reinstatement value. So depreciation is the actual physical depreciation in the value. However, not the depreciation that is used differently in different accounting methods. So reinstatement value is different from reinstatement condition number 9. We will be seeing the reinstatement condition number 9, what it is. So we have to remember that reinstatement value basis of sum insured is different from the reinstatement condition number 9. We will be seeing what is the reinstatement condition 9. Because the word reinstatement is used in two places where it slightly differs in its meaning. Here the reinstatement value is the basis of valuation of the property. Now, can every property be valued with the option of market value or reinstatement value? No. Building, plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, fitting, electrical installation, insured will have the option of market value or reinstatement value. However, other contents like raw material, stock will always be on market value. In other words, other than the stock or raw material, everything else can be covered with an option of market value or reinstatement value. Properties where market value cannot be ascertained, like works of art, manuscript, obsolete machinery, then the policy will be given on agreed value. The properties where there is no today's market value because it is not being manufactured today, then the value has to be agreed between the insurance company and the insured. Now that what we understand by agreed value, once we decide the value, then at the time of claim, we cannot challenge the value. We cannot say that the market value is on higher side, so we will give you lower. Or market, what you have opted sum insured is lower, so under insurance condition is applicable. Both ways, it will not apply in case of agreed value policy, where the agreed value of the property is agreed between the insured and the insurance company at the time of giving the policy itself. That is what is we understand by agreed value. Now, in case of raw material, market value. What is market value? At which insured can purchase the raw material in the market. Semi-finished goods, market value, we understand raw material plus the expenses included up to the stage. That is the stage of semi-finished goods. Finished goods, market value will be raw material, all overhead expenses. And however, we have to remember, it does not include in profit out of the selling price. So profit will never be covered, which is against the principle of insurance. Who fixes the sum insured? Though at times we guide the insured on what should be the sum insured, it is always to be fixed by the insured and not the insurance company. It is the maximum limit of liability. Our claim can never go beyond the sum insured. It is the amount on which the rate is applied. Premium will be always applied on the sum insured. It should represent the actual value of the property insured. If he is opting for lower, there will be under insurance. If he is opting for higher, there is no benefit. So over insurance, there is never a benefit. Under insurance, condition of average will apply. Midterm revision in sum insured, we always get in daily also under fire policies, insured will request for increase in the sum insured. Whenever there is increase in sum insured, premium is calculated on pro rata basis. That is exactly in proportion to the number of days. Decrease in sum insured. If the insured requests for decrease in sum insured, it is possible that he has taken the policy with a very high sum insured of stock but later realized that so much of sum insured is not required throughout the policy period, then insured can request for decrease in the sum insured. In such case, the premium will be retained on the short period scale and not on pro rata basis. So increase on pro rata, decrease on short period scale, retention of premium. Cancellation of insurance at the option of the insured. Generally, this rule applies to all policies. Short period retention. If cancelled on account of government order, then pro rata refund shall be allowed. Now, at the option of the insurer, I have highlighted this. Refund on pro rata basis for unexpired term. But can insurance company cancel the policy? So for this, IRDA has now clarified after the Laghu and Sukshma policies that insurer generally will not cancel the policy. Insurer will cancel the policy. Though in the SFSP or in the All India Fire Tariff, if we go by All India Fire Tariff, it is given that if the insurer cancels the policy, refund will have to be given on pro rata basis and not on short period basis. But when will the insurance company cancel the policy? So now IRDA has clarified it that insurer will not cancel the policy unless there is misrepresentation or fraud. And if there is misrepresentation or fraud, then no refund will be given. This particular clause we will see later also. This has been clarified now that insurance company will not cancel, unlike if there is some high claim ratio. We cannot cancel the policy because there is high claim ratio. That action can be taken only at the time of renewal. Insurance company cannot cancel policy mid-term without any valid reason. So if the valid reason is like misrepresentation or fraudulent intention, then there is no question of refund either on pro rata or short period. Simply refund cannot be given. Okay. Tariff does not permit covering certain portion of the property. We are aware of this. Only plinth and foundation can be excluded from fire if boilers from the machinery cover, but otherwise insured cannot select the property. Entire property should be covered for insurance. Maybe they have more than one policy, but the total property has to be covered, and partial insurance of the property is not allowed, which will result into underinsurance. Structure of All India Tariff. This is simple, and we feel that whenever we required, we can refer to the tariff, which is correct. However, from the exam point of view, there are total 8 sections. General rules and regulation. We are aware that section 3 gives rating for non-industrial risk. Industrial is given under 4. 5 gives utilities located outside the industrial risk or manufacturing risk, and storage, which we generally come around when we rate the godowns, that is section 6. 7 gives tank farms or gas holders. Add-on covers are given under section 8. Annexure gives just the specimen copy of the clauses. So total there are 8 sections. That also can be asked in the exam as to what are the total number of sections under fire tariff. Now, we all are aware about what are the fire and special perils under the policy. Whatever is highlighted here, that is important. Fire, we know the word fire, what it means. Everybody understand. However, fire requires actual ignition or burning under accidental or fortuitous circumstances so far as insured is concerned, and excluding loss or damage by its own fermentation, natural heating or spontaneous combustion. So spontaneous combustion, we all are aware that it's an add-on cover. But spontaneous combustion is an add-on cover, correct? But spontaneous combustion basically is an exclusion from the definition of fire. So spontaneous combustion, undergoing heating or drying process, and burning of property by order of any public authority. This is an exclusion within the cover of fire. This exclusion somewhat comes within the definition of what is covered under fire. So the definition of fire is important. What is covered under the definition of fire and what is excluded under the definition of fire. That is its own fermentation, natural heating or spontaneous combustion. and heating or drying process, and burning by the order of public authority. Lightning, second peril, with or without actual ignition taking place. So in the case of lightning, flame is not necessary. Explosion, implosion. Why we say excluding loss or destruction or damage to the boilers? However, in the bracket given that domestic boilers. So industrial boiler gets excluded from the coverage of fire policy. Explosion of industrial boilers. But explosion of domestic boilers is covered under fire policy. Then if we are excluding industrial boilers from the explosion implosion under the SFSP policy, then where are we covering? We are covering the industrial boilers under the boiler policy as a specialized policy. Loss or destruction caused by centrifugal force, these excluded losses are covered under engineering policy. What we understand by explosion? Sudden violent burst with a loud sound, and implosion is bursting inward or collapse due to internal pressure. Aircraft damage. So what does it exclude? Aircraft damage, we know that means if the aircraft falls, then it will be covered. But it excludes loss due to pressure waves or shock waves. Because with the supersonic speed of aircraft, there is possibility of damage to the property, especially the glass windows or glass doors, which is not due to any contact with the aircraft or any part of aircraft or any other space device. But the damage is only due to the supersonic speed and the pressure waves. So when there is no accidental contact between the property and the aircraft or part of aircraft, then it is not covered within the definition of aircraft damage. Riot, strike and malicious damage, which exclude total or partial cessation of. What happens is when there is a riot, strike, then the work will be stopped for some time because the work is disturbed. So that will be excluded any damages further to the riot and strike. So the actual riot and strike damages caused to the property only will be covered. So anything burglary or anything happening, housebreaking, theft, malicious acts after the riot and strike will not be covered under the policy. Actual physical loss or damage due to riot and strike will be covered. STFI, we all are aware, storm, typhoon, tempest, hurricane, tornado, flood, inundation, and all perils excluding, again here, there are some of the fire perils which exclude something within the cover. So that is important. STFI excludes earthquake, volcanic eruption or other convulsions of nature. Generally what we understand is earthquake is an add-on and earthquake is not an exclusion. But basically earthquake is an exclusion within the definition of STFI. And why earthquake is connected to STFI? Because with the earthquake, the flood or there can be disturbance in the sea, and there can be flood resulting out of earthquake. So earthquake and STFI is connected. So if we opt for STFI, it is excluding earthquake. So we have to opt for earthquake as an add-on cover. If we don't opt for earthquake, then STFI will be covered, but anything happening as a result of earthquake, like tsunami, will not get covered. So earthquake is always required to be covered along with STFI. Otherwise, STFI will exclude any damages of flood resulting out of earthquake. Impact damage, what we understand by impact damage? Impact is any damage to the property because of the impact by various. Impact by what? Railroad, vehicle or animal, excluding those belonging to the insured. So here again it is important. What is covered? What we are seeing are the basic perils. So impact damage includes any railroad, vehicle, animal damage. However, in the bracket it is given that excluding those belonging to the insured, or occupier of the premises. Very much specified. Either insured's vehicle is not covered or occupier of the premises is also not covered, because occupier of the premises may not be insured owner, but it could be a tenant. So this impact damage, which is a basic perils, covers impact damage by railroad vehicle or animal, but not belonging to the insured. Subsidence and landslide, including rock slide. Again, what it excludes? Normal cracking, settlement, movement of ground, defective design, demolition, etc. This is quite a exam prone, we can say. This definition of excluding normal cracking, settlement, movement of ground, defective design, or demolition. This many a times comes in the exam, because in the cover, what is excluded? That is what we have to stress upon. Bursting and or overflowing of water tanks. There could be damages due to bursting or overflowing of water tanks, apparatus or pipes. Missile testing operation. Everything has to be accidental. Bursting or overflowing of water tanks also has to be accidental. Not overflowing of tanks. Sometimes we see that tanks, sometimes we see that on the buildings, water tanks are leaking on a regular basis. This may make the building weak, and if the building falls or any of the wall falls, then that is not covered. When we say bursting or overflowing of water tank, that bursting of tank or overflowing of tank should be accidental, sudden and accidental. Leakage from automatic sprinkler installation. However, excluding sprinklers are installed to extinguish fire. So leakage from automatic sprinkler, again, which is accidental, will be covered. But if it is under repair or alteration or removal or extension, or there is already some defect, then it is not covered. The leakage should be accidental. Bushfire, excluding forest fire. Bushfire is covered, forest fire is not covered. Again, this is limited to SFSP. Bushfire is limited and localized, whereas forest fire is catastrophic in nature. So forest fire is not covered, bushfire is covered, whereas forest fire is an add-on under the SFSP policy. Now we have seen all the perils covered under the SFSP policy. Generally, we go through the perils, so we are aware of the perils. Just you have to stress on the important points of the perils covered. Now, silent risk. What is a silent risk? When the manufacturing or storage for more than 30 days is in a factory, then though it is said storage, it is not meant for a godown. A factory is silent for 30 days or more where there is no manufacturing or storage. Why we say no manufacturing or storage? There could be no manufacturing, but there is storage of either raw material or finished goods in the factory. Another case is where the factory is silent, neither manufacturing is there or no storage of any material is there. There could be two situations. So when there is no manufacturing, no storage, then silent rate will apply. There is no manufacturing, but there is storage. Like there is no manufacturing in a sugar industry for 6 months, but storage of sugarcane or storage of stock is still there in the factory. Then the rating will be done as per the storage rate of that particular category of the goods. But if there is no, only plant and machinery is there, no goods stored, no manufacturing, like everything is silent, then the silent rate will apply. Closure following a loss will not make a risk eligible for rating as silent risk. Because sometimes there is a heavy loss, then the claim is lodged. Then at the time of renewal, then the insured will say that this is a silent risk. No, because that is not a silent risk, what we call as. Silent risk is when there is no manufacturing or storage for a reason other than loss. It's not following a loss because it is not, the definition does not mean because there is a loss and no work, then it's a silent risk. So what shall we do when there is a loss and then if it has to be insured, then it will have to be properly inspected and rated. Add-on covers under the SFSP, we are seeing what are the add-on covers under SFSP. Impact damage due to insured's own vehicle. If we relate to the covers under SFSP policy, we have seen that impact damage is already covered under the basic perils. Then what is the difference? Impact due to insured's own vehicle is an add-on. Impact by any third-party vehicle, animal or rail, road, everything is covered under a basic cover, but which excludes insured's own vehicle, and that exclusion gets covered under add-on cover. Now, simultaneously, we also see what should be the sum insured of add-on. If little thought is given, you need not learn this, because if the impact by insured's own vehicle, impact can always happen to any part of the industry. It will not be restricted to any certain part. Impact can happen to any part. So the whole sum insured will have to be taken. Selection cannot be done for impact damage. So what is going to be the sum insured for impact damage? The total policy sum insured. Because you don't know which part of the property the impact damage will be there. So there can be no selection. The policy sum insured has to be taken. Spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous combustion, we cannot say sum insured of the entire factory should be taken for spontaneous, because there are certain commodities which are prone to spontaneous. Certain commodities not prone. There will be plant and machinery. There will be stock of non-hazardous goods. There will be stock of hazardous goods like bagasse. So then whatever is prone, insured can take for spontaneous combustion. But at the same time, if the spontaneous combustion sum insured is of 100 crores, then insured cannot make spontaneous combustion sum insured as a smaller amount. Sum insured of relative commodity has to be taken incomplete or total. Again, there should not be taken on a lower size. It will result into underinsurance. This just explained materials like coal, hay, bagasse are susceptible to spontaneous combustion, fermentation or heating. Cover is for damage due to fire only. Again, this is stressed here. Spontaneous combustion is heating of the property by itself. Then that heating or fermentation can result into fire or may not result into fire. So mere charring of the property is not covered under the add-on cover. For falling under the add-on cover, there has to be fire resulting out of spontaneous combustion. So cover is for damage due to fire only. If there is spontaneous combustion, but it does not result into fire, then it is not covered under this add-on also. Earthquake. Earthquake can cause landslide, rock slide, flood, overflow of sea. Same is covered. However, if insured opts for STFI deletion, then these perils due to earthquake will not get covered. So as I already explained, earthquake and STFI are connected. So STFI deleted but earthquake covered will also not help the insured. In practice also, sometimes just to reduce the premium, insured will ask for STFI deletion. And STFI is deleted and earthquake is covered. It does not help the insured because earthquake can result into flood group of perils. So from exam point of view, earthquake can cause landslide, rock slide, flood. So if STFI is deleted, then group of flood perils due to earthquake will not get covered. Terrorism is an add-on cover. Spoilage material damage cover. We'll see generally which add-on covers may not be understood, that we will stress on. Spoilage material damage cover is whenever there is a fire loss, generally in a continuous process factory, the machines stop because there is a fire and the work is interrupted. Now, when the work is interrupted, some of the stock will get stuck in the machinery and machinery stops operating. So the stock remains in the machinery, which cannot be removed because there is a damage and the process is blocked or interrupted. When there is interruption, there is a process going on like a jam factory. Then the first it is manufactured, then it is filled into the bottle, then it is sealed. Then when there is a process is stopped suddenly due to some fire loss, then there is a damage to the machinery. The stock remains in the machinery and it cannot be completed. So obviously the stock which is in the machinery will get damaged. Though it is not damaged due to fire or any other perils, it will get damaged further. So that is what we understand by spoilage material damage cover. Now here there are two types of damages. One is stock is getting damaged. Similarly, because of the stock remaining in the machinery is also getting damaged. That is what is covered under this add-on. Spoilage of material which is stuck in the machinery and the machinery which gets damaged due to the material which may be either wet or it may be in a half process stage. So damage to the machinery and damage to the material which is damaged not due to the direct peril, but it is as a result of the peril because it cannot be removed from the machinery. Leakage and contamination. Leakage and contamination, what will be the sum insured? For spoilage material damage cover, insured can opt for a sum insured. He can opt for a sum insured. Leakage and contamination, the specified sum insured. What is leakage and contamination? Whatever is prone to leakage or contamination. The liquid in tanks will get covered for leakage and contamination. That specified sum insured has to be opted. Now what we understand by leakage and contamination, cover is only for oils or chemicals. Only leakage can be covered or leakage and contamination can be covered. Leakage will be from the container, should be accidental. Now, if we don't specify this, it will mean for any other reason, if there is a leakage, then that is not covered under the policy. There should be an accidental damage to the container due to which there is leakage. That leakage gets contacted with some foreign matter because it comes out. And then there is contamination. So that is the cover under this. Rate is lower when the tank is within the premises and higher when the tanks are outside the premises. Why? Because the possibility of damages and possibility of contamination will be more when the tanks are outside the premises. Sometimes some contents, when there is leakage, they can also be saved when it is within the premises. Whereas when it is outside, then it gets spread everywhere. Then there cannot be any saving of the contents. Loss due to contamination due to improper handling is excluded. It is many a times it is observed that there is a question on this. And why there is a question on this? Because in day-to-day working, we tend to ignore the add-ons which are generally not offered by the insured. Simple reason. While setting the paper, they see that the add-ons which you offer terrorism, and we offer spontaneous combustion, earthquake, and more omission to insure. These are the few escalation. These are the few add-ons which are generally offered. And so we are aware of the add-ons. The add-ons which we are not aware of, because which are not regularly studied or offered to the insured. So the questions will be set on those because we tend to ignore them. Loss due to shrinkage, evaporation, loss of weight, not covered. Cover starts when the material reaches the tanks. So the cover is in the tank and not before it reaches the tank. Purity of liquid should be certified. Cleanliness of pipeline, pumping equipments to be ensured. Loss payable at the market value on the date of loss. So the cover is market value here. Additional excess can be opted. 72 hours clause for earthquake. Condition of average, salvage recoveries is applicable. If anything can be recovered, that should be recovered and reduced from the claim. What is 72 hours clause for earthquake? Any earthquake, because earthquake, we all know that earthquake tremors come not only once. They will come within 15 minutes, again after half an hour, again after. It generally happens that 2-3 tremors come. So 72 hours is the period within which the tremors which come and the losses take place are treated as a single claim. Beyond that, will go as a second claim maybe. Omission to insure, additions, alterations. Policy rate on 5% of the sum insured. Now, omission to insure, what should be the sum insured? On the 5% of the sum insured, the rate given in the tariff will be applied. Sometimes insured in a huge sum insured can forget to inform new additions to the buildings or machinery he has purchased, but unintentionally forgets to inform the insurance company. Then there is a possibility that there is a claim and it is not covered, or there will be underinsurance. So omission to insure is a precaution for the property which may get added, or building, some part of the building which may just be some work and added, which insured may later not promptly inform the insurance company. So takes a precaution in the beginning of the policy itself that omission to insure add-on is taken, so that on the 5% of the sum insured. So omission of insurance cannot be 10% of sum insured, 15% of the sum insured. It cannot be more than 5% of the sum insured. Policy rate, full policy rate will be applied, but not more than 5%. Insured can go for less than 5%, but not more than 5%. Now, another deterioration of stock in cold storage. In cold storage, we are insuring the cold storage, and there can be contents in the cold storage. Now, contents in the cold storage can also get damaged when there is flood, or when there is fire, or when there is earthquake. But sometimes only cold storage is damaged, or there is a power loss to the cold storage, and there is deterioration of stock. There is no flood, there is no fire, or no other peril operating, but there is power failure. Power failure will automatically deteriorate the stock in the cold storage. That add-on is covered under this. But you have to understand power failure. As I said, power failure and deterioration of stock. But the cause of fire failure, like power failure, is due to various reasons. There is a power cut by the power station itself, by the government. But power failure has to be, because we are talking from the insurance point of view. Power failure can be at the insured's premises, or power failure can be at the power station itself. Now, what should be the reason of power failure is important, what we have to see here. Power failure has to be due to the perils covered under fire policy. Whether it is power failure at power station or power failure at insured's premises, the reason for power failure has to be a peril covered under fire policy. Now, peril covered under fire policy will operate, and it will cause some damage to the power station. So the power is interrupted. Because the power is interrupted, there is a deterioration in stock. So deterioration of stock add-on cannot be independent of perils covered under fire policy. Perils covered under fire policy has to operate, but not directly to the stock, but to the power station. Now, power station may be the outside insured's premises, or it may be within insured's premises. What will be the sum insured? The stock. So the two add-ons are different. One is insured's premises and another is damage at the power station. Insured can opt for one, or insured can opt for both, in which case premium for both add-on will have to be paid. Both are separate add-ons. Insured's premises failure and power station failure. Both are two separate. Two premium rates are different. Higher premium will be paid to cover both add-ons. Now, there are exclusions in deterioration of stock. It's deliberate stoppage of the power, cut-off, load shedding, and if there is load shedding and then the maintained temperature is not maintained, So insured's responsibility is there to have the power supply. Load shedding has to have the alternate of method to keep the maintain the temperature. Only because sudden there is a loss and the cold storage content get deteriorated, claim cannot be paid. So time excess of 24 hours is important. If there is a power failure and the failure is less than 24 hours, claim is not admissible. This is the important point here. Sum insured will be the total stock. Insured peril must operate at the supply station to cause the failure of electric supply. Mere lack of power without any peril operating is not covered. So just remember there is a connection. Though it's a deterioration of stock, there is very much connection to our perils. If perils are not operating at insured's premises to the stock, but it is operating at the electric supply. More add-on covers. Escalation, generally we know, maximum escalation can be 25%. What is the premium charged? Premium charged will be 50% of the final rate. Premium charged will be 50% of the final rate. Escalation clause, the specified sum insured, maximum 25%. So again, escalation can be 25 or below, not more than 25%. Premium rate, 50% of the final rate. And how will the sum insured be calculated? 1 by 365 of the specified percentage of sum insured. We'll understand this. This is very important from the practical point of view also. Insured is opting for escalation as an add-on cover. Now, why he is opting for escalation clause? Because the value declared today, which he is thinking is correct, may be a little more without any additions to the property of the same property after 3 months, 4 months, or 6 months, or by 9 months. So to be cautious about the increase in the sum insured, he is opting for an escalation. By escalation, what we understand? It is a gradual increase in the sum insured. So if the insured opts for 10% escalation and the sum insured is 1 crore, then the 10% on 10%, we are not charging the rate we are charging for 1 crore, but we are charging only 50% of the rate. Why are we charging lower? Because that sum insured is not applicable today, but that sum insured is, can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes.
Because yes, okay. Escalation can be 25%. Insured is expecting increase in the value, and so he is taking some precaution of 25% maximum of the sum insured which he has now taken. So 10% escalation will mean 1 crore plus 10%. That is the escalation value. Now, if the loss takes place after 3 months, is the escalated sum insured available on first month or second month? No. It is available on daily basis. That is, if after 100 days there is a loss, then your escalated sum insured will be available 100 days divided by 365 of the amount. I hope this is clear. Escalated sum insured is not available on the day one. 1 crore is the sum insured. 10%, that is 10 lakhs is the escalated sum insured. If there is a loss on the second day after taking the policy, what is available is 1 crore plus 1 divided by 365 of 10 lakhs. If it is after 50 days, then 50 divided by 365 of 10 lakhs. On the last day of the policy, it will be 365 divided by 365. That is whole escalated sum insured. So escalated sum insured is gradually increasing from day 1 to 365 days of the policy period. Removal of debris in excess of 1% of the specified sum insured. Now, why we are saying as add-on cover in excess of 1%? Because up to 1% it's already covered. Up to 1% removal of debris is already covered under the policy. 1% of the claimed amount gets covered. Now, maximum it can be increased up to 10% of the sum insured. Similarly, architect, surveyors and consulting engineering fees, 3% is already covered under the policy. Maximum can be increased up to 7.5% of claim amount. Okay, these are the two add-ons which there is a basic sum insured already covered. If you want to increase, then it's an add-on. Temporary removal of stock clause for fabrication, processing and finishing. If we understand the add-on, then it's very easy to remember. Why will insured remove the stock? For fabrication, processing or finishing. There is some part of the work which insured cannot do. So his stock is there, he has covered under the policy, but for some processing work, he has to remove it and give to somebody else. And in that much period, if there is a loss to that property, then that property gets covered. But however, insured cannot cover more than the 10% of the total value of the stock. So you will have to charge 10% of the policy rate because we are covering only up to 10% of the stock value. Forest fire add-on for the specified sum insured. Loss of rent for the owner, it is specified sum insured. Again, this is the option of the sum insured, what sum insured to choose. Additional expenses of rent for alternate accommodation applicable to tenant. Specified sum insured. This is only for non-manufacturing risk and not for manufacturing risk. Policy rate will again apply. So loss of rent and loss of additional expenses of rent. Here we are not, it is no connection to the property covered. So it will be the specified sum insured. If the insured is paying some amount of rent, he will predict as to if there is a loss for 6 months, then what should be my loss of rent covered. Okay. Owner will take for loss of rent. Tenant will cover the additional expenses of rent for alternate accommodation. What is startup expenses? Necessarily and reasonably incurred for starting the plant. If the plant is damaged to a large extent, then some expenses will have to be again incurred for starting the plant. Like machinery is installed, but some engineer has to come and see and inspect whether it is running condition. So startup expenses will be there. So insured can, that it will again will not have any connection to the property covered. But insured will know as to what amount he will require for starting the plant. So he can choose, but what will be the rate applicable? The same policy rate. There are certain extensions which does not require any extra premium. Reinstatement value clause. We have seen that policy can be opted on market value or reinstatement value. Reinstatement value, that is the current value, replacement value without the depreciation. Now, if there is reinstatement value clause opted, that is, if the sum insured is taken on reinstatement value, clause applicable is the reinstatement value clause. So the clause does not require any extra premium, but the clause must come on the policy. Local authorities clause does not require any premium. Local authorities clause is very much connected to reinstatement value clause. Local authorities clause is not connected to market value policy. It is connected only to the reinstatement value clause. While underwriting the policies also, we must have seen that reinstatement value clause comes, then local authorities clause comes. Local authorities clause is not independent. What is local authorities clause? There is a reinstatement value clause that insured has taken the policy on reinstatement value. So then the reinstatement value clause will be seeing requires reinstatement of the property. So sometimes it may happen. This is very rare, but the clause is there that insured will always want to build on the same place where the building has collapsed or the machinery is damaged. However, it may sometimes, in a very, very rare case, happen that due to some reasons, the government or the municipal authority may ask the insured not to construct on that particular place and ask him to shift. In such local authority guidelines, if the insured cannot construct where the factory was existing, and if he has to construct at some other place other than the original place, that is the local authorities clause, will be permitted under the policy if it is due to some local authority regulation. Insured himself cannot choose to say that no, the property was in Bombay, now I will construct it at some other place in Madhya Pradesh. No. If it is due to a local authority regulation, he has to shift the location. That will be allowed, but connected to reinstatement value clause, because only this will happen in a reinstatement value policy. Designation of property clause, again, does not require any extra premium. And then what is a designation of property clause? It sometimes happens that, as we know practically, we take the sum insured for building, plant and machinery, stock, electrical installation, furniture, fixtures. Thus, classification is taken for policy. Some of the property may be classified under electrical installation by the insured in his books of account, whereas surveyor thinks that it should be classified separately as a fixture. This may happen. Okay. In which case, or in another example is where there is a compound wall which we want that insured should show separately, because some may cover, some may not cover. So how do we know whether compound wall is covered or not? So we insist in the proposal form and the policy that compound wall to be shown separately. Though that condition is there, insured may have added the compound wall in the value of his building or factory building itself in the books of account. And so he does not show it separately. So this can happen for fixtures, electrical installations, electronic equipment, electrical appliances, or some fixtures in the building. So in case of classification of the property is differently made by the insured than what is the understanding of the insurance company or the surveyor, it is covered by insured, but under some other head, that's all. Our head is different, his head of covering is different. However, it is covered. Provided it is covered only because designation given. Why word designation is used? Insured has given some other designation to the property, then it is covered under the policy because of this clause. Now, this clause by default must come in each and every policy, because it is just saying that if the property is covered, but designation given is differently, whether the value is covered correctly or not, that is another aspect. If the value is incorrect, then under insurance will apply. Okay, if the value is not sufficient, then it may not get payable. But for the purpose of designation, if the insured classifies differently, we think it should be classified differently, provided it is covered, proved by the insured from the books of accounts, then it will be covered. That is what is meant by designation of property clause. And so this does not require any premium to be paid. Goods held in trust or commission clause. Whenever goods held in trust are covered under the policy, they must be shown separately. Why they must be shown separately? Because goods held in trust will not have any invoice or proof of ownership, insurable interest of the insured. So if it is not shown separately, then at the time of claim, there will be an issue, because those goods or that stock will not have the insurable interest proof by the insured, or in the books of accounts, it may not be shown as the insured stock. So to avoid any dispute or issue at the time of claim or not being admissible, So this clause will be there, and insured must show the goods held in trust separately. Contract price clause. Contract price clause is again a clause which does not require any premium. What is a contract price clause? Which slightly violates our basic valuation of the finished goods. What we have said about the finished goods? We say finished goods are covered for the value of the property plus the value required, the labor till the processing and till the finished goods, excluding profit. So we can say that there is a violation there. Slight contract price clause may have profit margin within that. Now, why this clause, or what we understand this clause? There is a contract between the insured and the buyer, and that contract is materialized, and insured has already sold the goods, and the property gets damaged. Now, it will always be the finished goods only. It gets damaged in fire, and because of which the contract will get cancelled, because insured is not able to supply the goods. Now, here, the loss of the insured is not only the cost of raw material plus labor, but he is also losing on the profit because the contract was already materialized and he had actually agreed to sell, sold the property, but now he cannot give the delivery because the consignment is damaged, which included a margin of profit. So if this contract price we incorporate in the policy, then the cover will have that profit margin included in the sum insured. Of course, insured also has to add that profit margin for the some portion of the property. If he feels the finished goods contract may get cancelled and he will be at a loss. So contract price clause, what we understand, profit margin in the finished goods which are part of the contract already sold but could not be delivered, and contract gets cancelled. Reinstatement value clause. Option of reinstatement or market value. When insured opts for reinstatement value, obviously he takes a higher sum insured because he is taking without the depreciation. Now, simply taking higher sum insured and putting a clause in the policy is not sufficient. There are 4 important conditions. First condition is reinstatement must be done. I am opting for reinstatement clause, but then I said I will not replace the machinery. I will not construct the building. No, that is not allowed. So if the reinstatement value of sum insured is opted, so clause is incorporated, then 4 important conditions. One is work of reinstatement must be commenced and completed within 12 months. If carried out another site due to local authorities clause, liability shall not exceed. Until reinstatement is not carried out, our liability will be indemnity basis, that is market value basis. Condition of average will still apply. Some of us feel that when the reinstatement value policy is taken, then condition of average or under insurance does not apply. It is not, 2 things are separate. Condition of average possibility reduces. Why does it reduce? Because I am already taking the sum insured at a higher value because I want to get new value for my old property, new value for my old machine. I don't want to cover it at depreciated. I want to get what is the today's cost. I purchased a machine at 5 lakhs. Today's cost is 7 lakhs and I want to get 7 lakhs because if I get 5 lakhs, I'll not be able to purchase a machinery with 5 lakhs. So I am going for reinstatement value policy. I am paying higher premium. I am paying on 7 lakhs. So if I am paying for 7 lakhs, then my policy is reinstatement value policy. And obviously I will get 7 lakhs. So I can purchase a new machinery with 7 lakhs. But that does not mean condition of average will not apply because I have taken 7 lakhs, but at the time of claim, it is found that it is not available at 7 lakhs. It is available at 8 lakhs. Then there is still going to be under insurance. Possibility reduces because consciously insured takes a higher sum insured. If insured is careless and renewing policy for years together without giving a thought, then there is always a possibility of underinsurance. But when the insured takes the sum insured, revises the sum insured very thoughtfully, then condition of average possibility reduces, but there is no clause that there is no condition of average. Reinstatement settlement shall not apply if he fails to intimate his intimation to reinstate within 6 months. What do we understand by this? If the insured decides, I don't want to reinstate, I don't want to buy the machinery, it is not required now. I don't want to, if we say whole factory is damaged, and insured things now simply now this is plastic goods manufacturing, a very loss-making business. I don't want to do this now. Let me just forget. Let me do something else. So if he says he had taken the policy on reinstatement value basis, but there is a total loss, huge loss, insured plans not to start that factory again, then he cannot get the total reinstatement value sum insured as the claim. He will have to compromise by taking the claim on market value basis, also known as indemnity basis, subject to depreciation. If the insured is unwilling or unable to replace the damaged property, then the settlement will not be on reinstatement. Settlement will be on market value. And what is that market value? Reinstatement value less depreciation, he will get the claim settled. So this is reinstatement value clause 4 provisos. Just remember this because there is many a times question is asked on this. Now there are zones and categories for certain. EQ zone, generally while giving the policy, we know we all are aware. But only some zones are required generally wherever we are working. So we are not aware or we don't pay much attention. So EQ zones are 4. Spontaneous combustion also there are 4 categories. Both 4. Low or non-existent, moderate, variable and high. Now in hazardous goods go down. There are 3 categories only. Non-hazardous go down, then category 1 go down, category 2 go down, category 3 go down. Okay, so zones are 4. Spontaneous combustion 4 categories, and for storage purpose there are 3 categories of hazardous goods. Now there is a very peculiar or interesting spontaneous combustion, less spontaneous combustion prone is low or non-existing, that is category 1. Moderate is 2, variable is 3, and high is 4. And generally this is what happens, that lesser you say it's lower numbers, but EQ zones if you see it is opposite. EQ zone 4 is the lowest and 1 is the highest. So it goes inversely, that it is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is the highest and 4 is the lowest. So this difference you have to remember. Now in categories of hazardous goods, there is it goes with the, see, some of the hazardous goods are listed in the tariff. Some may not be listed. So how do we know whether it falls in the which of the category? This problem is also coming practically many a times, that whenever some contents in go down are given, we search in the tariff and we find that what I am trying to cover is not found in the list. So if it is not found in the list, then how do we know whether it falls under category 1 or 2 or 3? Some of the names, chemicals, may not be all chemicals fall in the same category. So how do we categorize it? Above 65 degrees Celsius flash point is category 1. Now category 1 is the lower. So higher the flash point, lower the risk. Flammable liquids having flash point between 32 to 65 is category 2. So flammable liquids having flash point below 32 is category 3. So lower the flash point, higher the risk. It is again the opposite. So higher the flash point is not higher the risk. Higher the flash point, lower the risk. Lower the flash point. So even for practical purpose, it is important whenever some stock is there to be covered, which may be some chemical or which you don't know, you're not aware as to whether it falls in category 1, 2 or 3. And asking the insured does not serve the purpose, because we are accepting the risk. We have to be 100% sure as to what we are doing. So it is always best to ask the flash point of that particular chemical or liquid which we are covering, where we are not sure it falls in which category. Okay, this I already explained, that category 1 is the lowest and category 3 is the highest. You have to remember this. Now, there are 2 policies under fire. We are aware, we are underwriting the policies, but we are not going into the deep terms and conditions, which are important from the exam point of view. Because what happens is, while underwriting the policies, that is not required to be known. So we just issue the policy. Now, floater policy. What is the purpose of giving a floater policy? Insured has more than one location. If he keeps the stock floating under 4 locations, that is, sometimes he keeps more in a particular godown, less in another, but sometimes as per the demand, he may keep higher in the B location. So what happens is, if we give SFSP a simple policy, then every godown he has to take the maximum sum insured which may be there in the godown on any one day of 365 days. Because if there is a claim and on particular day there is higher stock, then there will be heavy underinsurance. So to solve this problem, if he has more than one location, then insured can go for a floater policy, so that all locations are covered under one policy, and he can float his stock within the godowns. But total stock again should be correct. Cannot take the advantage of floater policy and cover 10 crores with the sum insured of 8 crores, thinking that none of my godowns will have more than 8, but total will be 10. Let me cover whatever is highest in one location. No, the total stock has to be covered, because there are 4 godowns. You may keep less and higher, but the total stock to be covered. Now, floater only for stock. There has to be good accounting and audit procedure. Otherwise, at the time of claim, it's not possible to find out how much was there in that particular location. Unspecified locations cannot be covered. Sometimes insured is saying, give me a floater policy, and just giving that much information. Give me a floater policy and I have some 4 godowns or 5 godowns. How does it matter to the insurance company whether there are 5 godowns or 10 godowns? So premium will be same. Like if there is a sum insured of 10 crores, we are going to charge on 10 crores with a 10% loading for floater. We are not loading for number of locations. So insured will say that, okay, you give me a policy without declaring the number of godowns and the addresses of the godown. But that is strictly not allowed under our policy. Unspecified locations cannot be covered. So a fire policy cannot be given floater fire policy, covering on floater basis with correct premium charge with loading, but addresses of locations are not there in the policy. Or a location where loss has taken place is not mentioned in the policy. Insured has to declare the locations at the time of giving the policy. With the same sum insured, with the same premium, he can add another location during the currency of the policy without any extra premium. But if there is a godown added, it must be added in the policy. So unspecified locations cannot be covered under the policy. Floater extra 10% because we are giving him this benefit of floater. Otherwise, he has to take sum insured higher in all the godowns. No floater extra if the godowns are within the same compound. What we understand that by this, there is one compound and 4 godowns. Godown number 1, 2, 3, 4, but within one compound. Generally, this will happen when insured is having more than one godowns or godowns are within the industry compound. If there are godowns more than one, but within the same compound, it does not say same state or same place. It is within the same compound. Then no floater extra is to be charged. So floater extra only if the location is outside the compound. Now floater is clear. Then declaration policy. Minimum sum insured is 100 lakhs. Minimum 25 lakhs at least one of the location. No such condition for floater policy. Okay. Periodical declarations. Balance premium will be refunded. Sum insured cannot be enhanced or can be enhanced, sorry, not reduced in the currency of the policy. Minimum retention 50% of the premium. So why is declaration policy given? Declaration policy is given where the insured feels that there will be a fluctuation in the stock. In some of the peak months, stock may be 100 crores, but in some of the months, it may be as less as 10 crores or 5 crores or 1 crores. Then predict, because not knowing when there will be a loss, insured will be paying for 100 crores throughout 12 months. So he feels that why I am paying so much of sub-premium when otherwise my stock may not be the same throughout my policy period. So then what is the benefit? He takes at the highest expected sum insured of that location. Then he will declare every month what is the stock every month. There are two options. One is insured declares at the highest value in the 30 days. Within the 30 days, there may be higher on the first and lower on the 25th or 26th of the month. So one is declare highest stock in the 30 days. Second option is average of 30 days. There are two options which he has to choose at the time of taking the policy itself. And that wording is there. It is there somewhere in this presentation also. Just simply learn that wording properly word to word. Because as I said, we are aware that there are two options. Exact wording of the options you must read because there will be little changes in the wordings and given in the options in the exam. So that is one quite commonly asked question. So if he is taking for the highest sum insured, opting one of the options and going on giving declaration, then if in a particular month there is zero stock, yet he has to declare, it can be considered as zero. If the policy is taken for 100 crores and in a month he is declaring 110 crores, no, we will consider 100 crores only. If he feels that it is going to 110 crores, insured has to enhance the sum insured and pay the premium. Otherwise, we will not consider. So it is not averaging of higher than the sum insured and lower than the sum insured. He cannot take the benefit of higher sum insured for averaging of 12 months. It is averaging within the sum insured. Can you hear?
गर्मियों में हफ्ते में 3 दिन लगा, सर्दियों में डेली लगा। इलाज से बाल खींच लेना, निकल जाए तो हमें पकड़ निकलेंगे नहीं वजह बाल।
Somebody is talking. Okay. So declaration policy benefit is given within the sum insured for the advantage of averaging of the 12 months. So if a policy is taken for 100 crores, sometimes there is 90 lakhs in a month, sometimes 0, sometimes 10. And then if the 12 months total divided by 12, if it comes to 100 crore policy and the average comes to 60 crore, then insured will get refund on the 40 crores, the extra sum insured. Simple as that. However, retention has to be 50%. So if the 100 crores is the sum insured and average of 12 months is coming to 40 crores, refund cannot be given for 60 crores. Refund will be given on the premium of 50 crores only. So retention is 50% of the premium. Otherwise, by taking the benefit of this policy, insured will take a policy of 100 crores and then you find that whole year average is only 10 crores or 20 crores. We cannot refund for 80 lakhs. We are 80 crores. The refund has to be maximum only 50% of the premium. So however you remember it, refund cannot be more than 50% of the premium. Cannot be more than 50% of the premium. I think it is Narendra Kumar. Yes. So balance premium increase. This is one important that query hai kya? Is there some query? Okay. Sum insured cannot be can be enhanced but not reduced in the currency of the policy. Whereas it is giving refund. So insured cannot ask to reduce the sum insured in the currency of the policy. Declaration policy is not permitted for short period policy. Sometimes there is inquiry by the insured that we want to go for short period policy. Then we say, okay, short period policy is permitted in the fire department. There is a scale, like you will be charging a premium as per the scale. But stock in process, short period policy or stock at railway sidings, we are not giving any Yes, you can get the PPT. This PPT will be shared. So if you, whatever you feel important, you can write down. But you need not write down everything. The PPT will be shared. Now you are getting the voice. You can hear, right? Yes, you will get the PPT. Okay. Declaration policy not permitted for short period policy, stock in process and stock at railway sidings. This is very important because if the question comes on short period policy, we get confused why it should not be allowed. Okay, it may be allowed. No, it is not allowed for short period policy. Declaration policy has to be an annual policy and the average of 12 months has to be done. Averaging cannot be done of less than 12 months. Declaration policy, basis of valuation will be market value. Now, if we again say that this is, you are giving the benefit of averaging in 30 days or highest in the month. So declaration always comes on the next month. So if the declaration comes on the next month, how will you know about the under insurance? How will you know? Because declaration will always come in the next month. So for the purpose of claim, the previous month declaration is seen. Previous month declaration will be seen for the under insurance purpose. So like if insured has declared a lower sum insured in a month and next month there is a claim, then on the particular day also it will be seen, but declaration of previous month is seen whether previous month declaration is given correctly or not. If it is incorrectly given, then insured will be penalized for that by condition of average. After the loss, the premium paid for reinstating the sum insured shall not be considered in the final adjustment of the premium. See, there is a policy. Sometimes the sum insured is enhanced. Sometimes there is sum insured will be enhanced. Then if it is enhanced, then premium will be paid. So some 500 premium is paid. Sum insured is enhanced. Again premium is paid. So at the end of the year when we are averaging, all premium will be considered. However, what is the third point? Premium paid for reinstating the sum insured shall not be considered in the final adjustment of the premium. If at all there is a claim, then reinstatement premium we are collecting for the loss paid from the date of loss to the expiry of the policy. That premium collected, will it be considered for the adjustment of the premium? It will not be considered for the adjustment of the premium. What will be considered for the adjustment of premium? The premium paid initially, premium paid for enhancing the sum insured, premium paid after the loss for the amount of the loss for reinstating the sum insured will not be considered in the final adjustment of the premium. if the declaration not being made latest by last day of the sum, if the insured fails to give the declaration, then sum insured to be considered for declared value. Now, don't go by what we are doing practically. You have to see the terms and conditions for the as given in the tariff, because practically it must be happening that it is happening that if the declaration is not given by the last day of the succeeding month, the sum insured is to be treated as declared value. Practically, we are not doing this because our valued customer is there. Then if we will send reminder, we send reminders and we take the declarations, we don't immediately do as given in the book. But if an example is given, or if it is given for the exam purpose, and if it is said that for the month of February, no declaration is given, for the month of March, more than the sum insured is given, for the month of April, 0 is given, then you have to go by what the tariff says. No declaration is given, sum insured to be considered. 0 declaration is given, you have to take 0. If higher than is given, you take the sum insured. If there is a difference between giving 0 and not giving. Giving 0, you have to consider 0. But if it is not declared, then the total sum insured. And for the exam, if it comes, then average the 12 months, whatever is the premium. If it is refund is coming to 40%, give the refund. If the refund is coming to more than 50%, the retention will be 50% of the premium. One problem on this is always there. Basis of declaration, as I said, you have to just learn this properly as to average of the values of risk on each day of the month, or highest value at risk during the month. If at the time of loss there is any other insurance other than on declaration basis, this policy shall apply only to the excess of the value of the stock. So, if there is a declaration basis policy and same stock is covered under a SFSP policy, or sometimes it happens that there is a IR policy, if the insured, there is a duplication, because it may happen. Generally, insured will want to cover his stock separate only. But if the stock is also covered on another policy, then other policy will pay first, and then the declaration policy will pay the excess. If the stock, like less stock is covered under fire policy will pay first, remaining will be paid in the declaration policy. Declaration policy will not operate first, fire policy will operate first. There are some examples of spontaneous combustion. There are many in the tariff. I've just selected a few which generally can be asked, or which generally are important ones. Now, whether they fall in for spontaneous 1, 2, or 3, or 4 category, at least few which generally come, we must see and keep taking a chance that if it comes in the exam, few may be asked, like BD leaves has been asked, bagasse has been asked, patrol has been asked, waste of all kind. These have been asked in the exam before. So, which category they fall? So, this is given. What you can do later also with this presentation, that this first slide, and then you mark it. It comes under which category, and then you can check because it is given in the second slide. Try to see with the on your own with the first slide, and then you see the answers in the second slide. Like we will feel that petrol may be falling in 3, and bagasse is very hazardous. With our general understanding, molasses is very hazardous. So we may go wrong. So instead of that, a few you can learn and keep. So this is given like this, and then you can write down and then try with this. Paints is very hazardous. This is also sometimes it is come. And waste of any kind, oil and greasy of all kinds, comes in category 4, very high. Waste of category 1 will fall in 2, waste of 2 will fall in 3, waste of 3 will, whatever falls in 1, the waste of that falls in 2. But oily and greasy will always fall in category 4. Similar examples are given for storage risk also. Yeah, now cancellation of declaration policy. Again, the principle is same, retention on short period. Because cancellation of policy by the insured, in any case, the premium will be retained on short period only. No benefit of pro rata. Okay. Storage risk. And generally, so cancelling the declaration policy, it because it has a 50% retention condition. Okay, 50% retention condition. If the policy is cancelled, even if we are giving on short period, again condition will apply, 50% retention will be. Even if it is on short period, like this will happen only if the policy is continued for 7 or 8 or 9 months. Because then your retention will go beyond 50%. Otherwise, if he is cancelling immediately, then calculating on short period, but 50%, then it will be at a loss. So generally advisable not to cancel the declaration policy. Not to cancel the declaration policy. If it is cancelled very early stage also, there will be a 50% retention. Only if it is cancelled at a later stage, he may get benefit little bit of short period and 50% retention. Similar storage risk also. So categories of a same content or a commodity may not be same for storage and spontaneous. Like the gas is stored, then it will fall under a storage policy, go down policy, and storage risk category. But the gas covering for spontaneous combustion, then the spontaneous combustion category. The categories two are different. Storage category is different and spontaneous add-on categories are different. So it may not be the same. So these are storage risk. If you see, for example, only the first one, bagasse for storage is category 3. But bagasse for spontaneous is category 1. So it is not necessary that a commodity will fall in a particular category for spontaneous and for storage. So these are just some, I cannot say important ones, because in the exam they will always find what is important as per their judgment. But a few ones you can just go through. Similarly, you can go through from the tariff also. So you can go through, and then coal, PD leaves, these some jute, these are bitumen, these are sometimes asked in the exam. Exclusions, few we know were compulsory excess. Now compulsory excess, many of us have a doubt as to compulsory excess is an excess to be deducted from the policy. Then why is it an exclusion? But if you see the tariff, compulsory excess is one of the exclusions. So if it is there, it is like that, we have to remember it like that only. That exclusion, what is the first exclusion? Then we will try to remember what are the exclusion. This must be the exclusion. No, compulsory excess is the first exclusion as per AIFT tariff. Then these are the few exclusions which we already know. Pollution or contamination. Pollution or contamination is also one of the exclusion which little confusing. Pollution or contamination is an exclusion, basically. However, pollution or contamination will also get covered when it results from a peril operating, or pollution and contamination results into a peril. Pollution or contamination is an exclusion, but gets covered if pollution and contamination results into a peril, or a peril results into pollution and contamination causing losses. So whether to consider excess in the exam?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, you can ask the question. Yes.
In the spontaneous combustion category, 1 is low and 4 is very high, or is it opposite?
You are not paying attention.
No, it is
You-
it was just running in the back of my mind.
No, why back of the mind? We already covered this. In case of storage risk and spontaneous. In case of go down, storage risk and spontaneous, it goes from lower to higher. Category 1 is the lowest, 3 is the highest for storage. Spontaneous also 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is the lowest, 4 is the highest. What is the opposite is the EQ. Only opposite is the EQ. Is that clear? This is your doubt?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, spontaneous and category 1, 2, 3 storage. It is lowest to highest risk. Again, you have to see that flashpoint is something different, right? Flashpoint for 1 to 3 is different, which we saw already. Category 1, 2, 3, 4. Lowest, moderate, higher, highest. Spontaneous, similarly. Lower, higher, highest. In EQ, it is the opposite. Lowest is 4. Highest is category 1. Okay. So here, if you are saying storage risk category 3 bagasse, that means it is higher. 1 is lower. Similarly, in your spontaneous also, category 1 means lower, category 3 means higher. And in storage, you will have category 1, 2, 3. Spontaneous, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? There is 4 also. That's why I have given some examples of 4 also under spontaneous. Okay, exclusions. In exclusions, few are there which we know, bullions and precious work of art covered only up to 10,000 unless declared. So if he has declared and you have covered thoughtfully, knowingly, then it is covered. Stock in the cold storage, change in the temperature, not covered. Hope you are able to connect. Stock in the cold storage due to change in temperature, you will say here it is an exclusion, but we covered it that it gets covered with if there is a loss due to peril to the power station, then it is covered. That is an add-on. So add-on always will come as an exclusion, and then you pay premium and you cover it. So basically, loss or destruction to stock in cold storage due to change in temperature is an exclusion. Loss or destruction to stock in cold storage due to fire, it is covered. Any other perils, it is covered. But due to change, only change in temperature, it is not covered. Covered with an add-on. Electrical risk. This is also one very important, both from your exam point of view or from the practical point of view also, claim point of view also. This is the clause under which maximum fire claims get repudiated. What is electrical risk? Loss, destruction or damage to any electrical machine, apparatus or fixture fitting arising from overrunning, excessive pressure, short circuit, arcing, self-heating, leakage of electricity, whatever cause. Now, when there is an electrical apparatus or a machine which gets damaged due to the reasons given here, like due to overrunning, heating, and then that machine gets damaged without leading into any fire, then it is not covered under fire policy at all. But in a general terminology, people will say machine kharab ho gaya, uske andar fire ho gaya, right? It got damaged due to fire because inside there is a fire somewhere. There is no, you see a spark in the machine and machine gets damaged. But for our definition of fire, there has to be a flame, and that flame is not coming in that particular machine. And that machine, if there is a flame, that flame spreads to another machine or to another stock or to the building, then for the purpose of all other property, it is an accidental fire. But for that particular electrical machine, it is not an external fire. In our definition, one more important thing is fire has to be from external source. Your machine is there is a fire inside the machine because of the self-heating. Then that machine, for that machine, it's not an external fire. So that machine does not get covered under the fire claim because external fire is not there. So it is not covered. But that flame coming in that machine is spreading to other stock. Generally, it will damage the other stock. And if it's a heavy fire, it will damage everything in the factory or any other premises. Everything else will get covered, but that machine does not get covered. Now, if there is a fire to that machine and that fire spreads to other machine or other content, then that other contents and other property all will get covered except that particular machine. And this is where the mistake happens, that insured will take only a fire policy and there is a big machinery which gets totally damaged, but the fire in his view, it's a fire. In our definition, it's not a fire because fire to the machinery is not from outside source, but it is within the machine. So this is the electrical risk which excludes that particular machine, apparatus or fixture, but does not apply to other machines, apparatus, etc. destroyed or damaged by fire. Similarly, this machine A, if it was in sound condition, but fire comes from other machine, then this machine would have been covered. So machine is covered as a content. Machine is not covered under fire when there is fire within the machine. So that is a 7 exclusion number 7 electrical risk. Regarding other exclusions, they may not ask you with the number, but electrical risk they can ask you with number also because it is so much well known. Your claims mostly get under fire department because of exclusion number 7 electrical risk. Now, whether this risk gets covered, it gets covered under a MB policy. If that machine was covered for machinery breakdown, then it would have been covered because it's a breakdown of that machine. Okay. Exclusions, architect, surveyor fees, debris. See, this is becoming a repetition. Understand, above 3% and 1% debris removal and architect surveyor fees is up to 1%, 3% is covered. Above that is excluded. Which is excluded can be covered as add-on cover. Loss due to delay, loss of market, consequential loss. Now, consequential loss is always excluded from all the general insurance policies. And against fire, if we want to cover consequential loss, it can be covered under a LOP policy or a consequential loss policy. If there is no policy, then it's a basically exclusion. Spoilage, material damage cover, exclusion, covered as an add-on cover. Loss by theft during or after the occurrence of the peril, exclusion. Earthquake, exclusion, but covered with extra premium. Removed to any other place, loss of property removed to any other building or place except the machinery removed for repair, renovation, not exceeding 60 days. So above 60 days, exclusion. Deductible, we will not go into the details, but you will have to remember the deductibles. Okay, so let us not learn now, but you will have to read it and know the slabs. You'll have to know the slabs. They can ask on any one of these slabs. And this is as per IRDA for SFSP, not applicable for Lagu and Sukshma. Lagu Sukshma policies, deductible is different. Okay, these are the general conditions. Mr. Representative, we know we will not see the general conditions which are applicable in on other policies also. Condition of average, we know what it is. Contribution, we know because we learn in all policies. Subrogation, we know. Arbitration, we know. Reinstatement of premium after the loss. That is, after the loss, You're charging premium.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, please, condition number 9, that is reinstatement condition, which you were
Yes,
saying
yes,
that you
yes.
will explain it later.
Yes. Condition number 9, that is company's right to reinstate or replace the property instead of paying the amount of loss or damage. Okay. Company's right to reinstate or replace the property instead of paying the amount of loss of damage. That is actually the condition number 9, what we are referring there is not this condition number 9. Possibly here I have put the numbers. I will tell which is the condition 9 I was referring to, not this condition number 9. Okay. I will tell it is here. I have just put the serial numbers in the presentation. So as per the tariff, the condition number 9 is this: reinstatement of premium after the loss. Okay. Don't go by the serial numbers which I have given. Okay. Condition number 9, what I was referring, is the reinstatement of premium after the loss. So first what we saw is market value or reinstatement basis of the policy. Market value depreciated. Reinstatement is the higher sum insured taking on the cost of the current value of the property, which applies to building and plant and machinery. Reinstatement of premium after the loss, though the word reinstatement used is same, reinstatement of premium after the loss, we understand that date of loss to the expiry of the policy, we are charging the premium on pro rata basis. Those who have handled claim will know this. If your sum insured is some 10 crores, you are paying a claim of 1 crore, policy is still valid, then you have to charge the premium on 1 crore. Otherwise, your sum insured stands reduced by 1 crore. Your sum insured will become 1 crore by reducing 1 crore claim. But if the insured replaces the stock, his sum insured will again be the 10 crores. And if there is a loss, there will be under insurance. So by default or for the benefit of the insured, we collect the premium after the loss from the date of loss to the expiry of the policy on the claim amount paid of the same rate what we have charged on the policy. This is known as reinstatement of premium, and I was referring to this. Okay. Reinstatement of premium. Now, this condition, because it was not understood properly, we are collecting the reinstatement premium after the loss in each and every claim under SFSP policy. Okay. But in case of Lagu or Sukshma policy, which we'll be covering, repeating again also, in case of Lagu or Sukshma policy, all policies are based on reinstatement value, and there is no confusion of market value or reinstatement value. Every policy will be on reinstatement value only. Premium will be collected, but the word does not get mixed up. Only in case of SFSP, the option we are giving of reinstatement value policy or market value policy. So reinstatement of premium, here the meaning is collecting the premium on the claim portion from the date of loss to the expiry of the policy. Now there is one more confusion, that reinstatement of premium does not apply to a reinstatement value policy. No. Collecting the premium or reinstatement of the premium applies to whether it's a market value policy or a reinstatement value policy, because you are trying to bring the sum insured to the original value. So basis of policy, whether market value or reinstatement, this difference is not there for reinstatement of premium condition. So you remember that reinstatement of premium, that is collecting the premium after the loss, is applicable whether the policy is on market value basis or policy is on reinstatement value basis. Because even if it is on market value basis, insured has to bring back the sum insured to its origin. Otherwise, the sum insured will fall reduced. Okay. That clear? Short period scale. I have just given this. If you want to learn this, there can be a question on this. But for that, you will have to read it again and again and remember what is the short period scale. Now, consequential loss insurance, there are certain definitions which you have to remember for consequential loss insurance. That is, consequential loss insurance, broadly you must be knowing. Consequential loss insurance, the sum insured is not what is the property sum insured. Consequential loss sum insured is the gross profit is the sum insured. What is gross profit? Gross profit is the net profit plus the standing charges. What we understand by standing charges? Fixed charges which we don't reduce even if the business goes down, even if the turnover is reduced. So sum insured for consequential loss is the gross profit. Gross profit is net profit plus standing charges. Why there will be reduction in gross profit? Because the turnover goes down. Turnover goes down because there is a fire and the factory is stopped. What we pay under the policy? There is a reduction in turnover. At the same time, there may be some expenses incurred, like if it's a manufacturing and reduction is turnover is there. But to prevent reduction in turnover, he takes some other premises on rent and starts working there. So he is incurring some 10,000 rupees and hiring some people, hiring some workers and reducing a loss of 50,000. So that is what is increased cost of working to reduce the loss. So that can also be paid under the policy. Main part is reduction in turnover. We are compensating not the reduction in the turnover amount, but the gross profit of that turnover. Because ultimately, what is insured losing? The gross profit. So what we are trying to cover under consequential loss is the gross profit. This proviso, what is material damage proviso? This is the condition of taking a consequential loss policy. If you have a consequential loss policy, you must have a fire policy. You cannot have a consequential loss policy without having a fire policy. If the fire policy claim is payable, only then payable under the consequential loss policy. Both the policy period must match, because otherwise your fire policy is expiring, already expired, and you have a consequential loss policy, then how the claim is payable? Because basic condition is fire is admissible, consequential claim is admissible. It is a consequential loss only against the fire policy. So material damage policy, what we understand by material damage policy, the basic fire policy. Material damage policy claim has to be there. Property must be at a loss, must be admissible. Only then your consequential loss policy will come into operation and claim will be admissible. There is only one situation where claim under fire is not payable, but under consequential is payable, where your fire loss is falling under deductible. There is a loss falling under your compulsory excess or deductible. Then it may happen that fire policy, there is no claim, but there is a consequential. Very rare case, but it can happen that fire loss is small, consequential loss is big. Fire loss is not payable because there is a falling under excess. Consequential loss admissible under the policy. Now definitions which you must know. Standing charges. There are standing charges and variable charges. For production, you require raw material, which is a variable charge. No production, no requirement of raw material. But if you are paying rent, you are paying salary, you are paying insurance, you are paying income tax, you are paying audit fees, these amounts has to be paid by the insured irrespective of whether there is loss or not. So fixed charges are standing charges. Now, when there is turnover, when the excess of turnover on the expenses and the opening stock will result into gross profit, the excess over the expenses. Now, what is the net profit? Gross profit less the expenses, standing charges will become the net profit. Increased cost of working, I have told, additional expenditure. Turnover, what is a turnover? Money paid or payable for goods sold or services rendered. We know this. Turnover will different for manufacturing industry. It will be the cost of goods sold. In case of a service industry, it will be the services rendered. Period of insurance, same as fire policy. There is a term indemnity period. What is indemnity period? Date of damage to restoration date of the business. We allow under the policy 3 months to 3 years. Now, period of policy period is 12 months. Loss takes place in between the policy period. So the period of indemnity can go beyond the fire policy period, right? Because indemnity period can be more than 12 months. In between the policy, fire policy, if there is a loss and the indemnity period opted is 1 year, still that 1 year will go beyond the fire policy period. So there is always a possibility of period of indemnity going beyond fire policy period. That is possible. Now, what is standard turnover? Turnover immediately before the date of incidents, which corresponds with the indemnity period. It will be more clear. You see in the next slide. Rate of gross profit is gross profit divided by turnover into 100. Indemnity period, if it is 1620 to 30/10/20. Okay. Turnover immediately preceding the incident, that is, if the incident was on 1619, okay, if the incident was on 1620, then the indemnity starts from that day, and indemnity period is up to 10/20. That means 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 months indemnity period. Turnover 1 year before the loss is known as annual turnover. So your indemnity period starts from the date of loss. So if the indemnity period is starting from 1620, 1 year before the loss is your annual turnover. The financial year turnover is always from April to March, right? Financial year, everything is calculated from April to March. But here we are talking because of the loss. So annual turnover does not mean financial year turnover. Here annual turnover means 1 year exactly before the loss. Okay. Now there is another term, standard turnover. Standard turnover is the turnover out of the annual turnover which is corresponding with your indemnity period. So my indemnity period is 1620 to 30/10/20. What is the indemnity period? The period which was required to restore my factory or restore the repair the machine or repair the building, whatever. So the period which was required after the fire to bring the factory to its origin again was 1620 to 30/10/20. Same period, but just changing the year. 1619 to 30/10/19 is known as standard turnover. So we are trying to see that this year 1620 to 30/10/20 the production stopped, and we have to compensate for this period. In the same period last year, what was the turnover? So you are just changing the year. Then you will remember. Instead of 1620 to 30/10, you are changing 1619 to 30/10/19. That is the standard turnover. Annual turnover is just 1 year before your loss. Now, why do we require all this? Under insurance can still apply. We'll see that part later. Excess for consequential loss, the excess is in number of days. For petrochemical risk, it is 7 days of gross profit. And for petrochemical risk, 14 days. Other than petrochemical, it is 7 days. Now, your turnover is fixed cost plus variable cost plus net profit. In other words, just giving in different ways for better understanding. Gross profit is turnover minus variable cost, because we are considering fixed expenses only. We are not considered with the variable cost, because if the production is not there, insured will not purchase the raw material. But insured has to still incur the fixed expenses known as standing charges. So standing charges is nothing but fixed expenses. So what is the gross profit? Standing charges plus net profit is the gross profit. There will be variable charges as per books of accounts in his gross profit. But for our gross profit, it is only standing charges plus net profit we are considering as gross profit. So if you say in other words, gross profit is standing charges net. If there is a net loss, then it will be standing charges minus net loss. If it is profit, standing charges plus net profit. So your policy inception is there and expiry is there 12 months. Date of loss will always happen in between sometimes. Your interruption period can go beyond the expiry date of the policy. That is okay. A longer period is where it goes beyond the policy period. Lower indemnity period can also fall within the, nothing is disallowed. This is just to explain. Period can go beyond or period can be within also. If he has opted for, if insured has opted for 6 months, it can fall within the policy period. If opted for 1 year, it can go sometimes beyond the policy period. Okay, so this is just to understand. This is the turnover in red line. If the standing charges plus net profit plus variable cost is the turnover. Simple. Standing charges, variable cost, net profit, everything is part of turnover. Now for us, gross profit is only net profit plus standing charges. Variable cost, also otherwise known as working expenses, we are not concerned for the consequential loss policy. We are only concerned with net profit and standing charges. There can be net loss scenario where because there is net loss, your standing charges and gross profit is going plus working expenses is going beyond your turnover. Why your turnover is 10 rupees, but he has incurred loss, then his gross profit and then net working expenses and fixed charges will go beyond turnover. Then it results into net loss. We are giving policy if there is net loss, but if there is gross loss, then policy cannot be given. For net loss also policy can be given, because then the insured will get compensated for at least standing charges minus the net loss. Okay, just for understanding, turnover last financial year was 12 lakhs. Gross profit was 3 lakhs. What will be the sum insured? The gross profit. Simple. Period of indemnity, insured has opted for 12 months. Annual turnover, that is turnover from the date of loss 1 year behind the loss, is 16 lakhs. Now you will see turnover during last financial year was 12 lakhs. But after the loss, we have observed or we have calculated or we have taken from the insured, the annual turnover is 16 lakhs. Whereas last financial year, the turnover was less. But if you see on the date of loss, if you go 1 year behind, then his turnover has actually increased. Standard turnover is 10 lakhs. That is indemnity period turnover of the last year, right? Now turnover during the interruption period is 4 lakhs. Okay. So what is the shortage in the turnover? Standard turnover was 10 lakhs. That means in the last year, in the indemnity period, his turnover was 10 lakhs. Right? In the last year, in the indemnity period, it was 10 lakhs. But this year, how much it is? 4 lakhs. That means he has actually the loss of 6 lakh turnover. Okay. If his loss is of, see the step 2, shortage in turnover is 6 lakh. Last year, in the same period, he could make 10 lakhs turnover. This year, he has made 4 lakhs. So loss is 6 lakhs. But we are not going to pay for 6 lakhs. What we are going to pay is the gross profit which is lost on the turnover. So first step we have to calculate what is the gross profit. So gross profit is 3 lakhs is the sum insured gross profit, and turnover was what last year? 12 lakhs. So 12 lakhs and 3 lakhs. What is the gross profit percentage? 25. So 25% on the reduction of 6 lakh. What he has lost is 6 lakhs. 4 lakh he could produce. So 6 lakhs on 6 lakhs, 25% gross profit. This is the amount payable. Now, the adequacy of sum insured comes. There is underinsurance here because annual turnover is 16 lakhs, whereas turnover last year was only 12 lakhs. So there was an increasing trend. So now you know why we are seeing annual turnover. We are finding out annual turnover to know the adequacy of the sum insured. If you see the gross profit on the annual turnover, then it should have been 4 lakhs. Whereas gross profit covered under the policy is 3 lakhs. So the amount payable of will get reduced in that proportion. So underinsurance will still apply. The purpose of taking, see the purpose of taking gross profit covered sum insured is 3 lakh. Turnover last year was 12 lakhs. So this the percentage is 25% profit he was making. But in the annual turnover, that is 1 year before the loss and not the financial period, his turnover has an increasing trend. If it is an increasing trend, that means the gross profit calculated on last financial year is going wrong. He should have taken sum insured on the higher expected turnover. So here there are 2 steps. One is calculating gross profit on the annual turnover and calculating on the last financial year. So we find there is a difference. It is on, if the annual turnover of before the loss was also 12 lakhs, then there would not have been any underinsurance. Because his annual turnover is on higher side, then he will get penalized for the 6 lakh which he has lost actually will get reduced to, amount payable will get reduced. Instead of 3 lakhs, he is getting, instead of 25%, we are applying on 1,50,000 gets reduced to 1,12,500 because of the underinsurance. If annual turnover and last year's financial turnover is same, then there would not have been, this step would not have been there. Okay. Increased cost of working will also be payable. If insured claims, and again there will have to be seen how much increased of cost of working and what he has spent for that. The terminology, if you see again and again, that will be sufficient for the exam. Just understand the terminology. There are certain add-on covers for consequential loss policies. These are the add-ons. We need not, you can just remember the add-ons. Standing charges, these are the examples. Standing charges, insured only has to declare what are the standing charges. Generally, we know what are the standing charges. These are the examples of standing charges. There is another IR policy. IR policy. I don't think we have to see the standing charges. You can always read and understand also. What is IR policy? Industrial all risk policy. We are giving fire policy. We are giving machinery breakdown policy. And we are giving fire consequential loss policy, which we just saw. And we are giving machinery breakdown consequential loss policy. Combination of all is IR policy. Industrial all risk policy. Policy covers fire and allied perils, burglary, machinery breakdown, boiler explosion, electronic equipment, CPM. Business interruption is nothing but consequential loss against fire or business interruption by machinery breakdown. So under this policy, important is industrial all risk policy previously was above 100 crores, but now the condition is not there. Industrial all risk policy can be taken for any sum insured provided insured covers everything under the policy. If you are giving a SFSP policy, then we will not insist that insured should cover MB, machinery breakdown. It is this option. Or if insured is going for a machinery breakdown policy, there can be selection. 100 machineries are there. He will cover only 2 machinery. What is the condition under IR policy? All machinery to be covered, all contents to be covered, everything to be covered. Then we can give IR policy. Under this policy, fire compulsory, MB compulsory, business interruption by fire compulsory, business interruption by MB is not compulsory, here optional. Optional is machinery breakdown consequential loss is optional and fire consequential loss is compulsory. Okay, section 1 is material damage. All accident losses other than the named exclusions. This is a very wide policy, wider cover. All act of God, perils, everything like fire only. Fire cover, MB cover, then spontaneous combustion, all add-ons also get covered under this policy. See, now what we see here is machinery breakdown perils covered is also shown under section 1. So this policy, section 1 covers fire as well as MB under section 1 only. Okay. Section 2 is loss of profit. So what I am trying to stress here is it covers fire, it covers MB, it covers LOP fire, it covers LOP MB. But the material damage section of fire and MB both are falling under section 1. They are not falling under section 1 and 2. There is section 1 fire. Section 1 itself covers MB. So for the sections of fire policy, both are falling under section 1. Section 2 is LOP and you can go for loss of profit arise. We have covered LOP. So we need not cover here again. Consequential loss policy separately and loss of profit under IR will be same. Scope will be all same. Okay, this is a general condition. This is not specifically for fire policy, right? But this particular slide or this condition will come on our very basic principles and practice of book. But we tend to forget it. Warranty is a condition precedent. Warranties are not representations. Every policy will have some conditions and warranties. So what is the difference? Warranty is a condition precedent. Warranties are not mere representations. Warranty is a condition which forms part of the contract. So warranty to be literally complied with. Breach of warranty enables the insurer to avoid a loss whether the breach has increased the risk or not. So the conditions of legal implications of warranties also, there most of the time there is one question. You have to remember all points of warranty. So there is a difference between warranty and condition. Condition can be violated, claim may still be paid. Warranty cannot be, because the last one is important. Warranty breach enables the insurer to avoid a loss whether the breach has increased the risk or not. In spite of not increasing the risk, the breach can make the insurance company avoid the claim. Like category 1 hazardous goods, there will be a warranty. It's not a condition that category 2, 3 are not stored. So if you find that you non-hazardous go down and category 1 hazardous or category 2 stock is there, then at the option of the insured, even if that has not contributed to the loss, the claim can be repudiated. So warranty implications are important. Just remember them. What is a non-standard claim? If the breach of warranty is merely technical and has not caused or contributed, aggravated the loss, loss may be treated as non-standard. It will not be paid full, but some penalizing, minimum 25%. I think everybody is aware of this. Claim document, we know. These damages after the fire also becomes payable, like smoke, heat, falling walls, collapse, damage caused by fire brigades, property removed to mitigate the loss. Okay. Pro rata average, we know this. Reinstatement of the premium. This is what I was telling about the condition 9. We have covered now. Okay, condition of average. I think we go to the Lagu Sukshma policy because these examples can be seen later also from the slide. We go to Lagu Sukshma policies. Okay. These are just some examples on how the condition of average applies, or a declaration policy claim also how under insurance will apply. Every month declaration, averaging the declaration, and then how loss payable will reduce if there is under insurance. We have covered. So, okay. DSUE. Steps in claim settlement are depreciation, salvage, under insurance, excess. First depreciation, then salvage, then under insurance, and then excess. New fire products. The difference between the new fire products and the SFSP. If we see what is the difference, then we will know. Some, I think, now that more than 1 year is passed, we know the few things, right? Up to 5 crores, Sukshma, 5 to 50 crores, Lagu. Now, the basic difference between the SFSP and Lagu Sukshma policies. Many conditions are same whether it is Lagu or Sukshma. That is, all policies are on reinstatement value basis. That basis of market value or reinstatement value is not there for all the 3 policies. That is your Griha, Lagu or Sukshma. Every policy has to be on reinstatement value only. So it's been simplified because there used to be a lot of disputes in claims regarding reinstatement clause not appearing on the policy. So surveyor treating as market value, surveyor deducting the depreciation, then insured will say, I was treating as reinstatement value. So no confusion. These policies all are on reinstatement value. So you will never find the option of whether you want on market value or reinstatement value. All policies on reinstatement value basis. So all you will have to take on building plant and machinery, RIV value, raw material, landed cost, because raw material you cannot say RIV value. The terminology does not apply. So raw material on landed cost basis. Stock in process, input cost basis. Terminology has been little changed and specified. Finished stock, again, contract price or goods sold but not yet delivered basis. Okay, bullion or unset precious, agreed value. There cannot be RIV or there cannot be any market value. These, if you are covering some works of art, we will have to cover it on agreed value basis. Contract price is respect of goods sold but not delivered, for which you are responsible, with regard to which under the condition of sale, the sale contract is cancelled by reason of any damage insured under this policy, either wholly or to the extent of damage. The company's liability shall be based on the contract price. Okay, we have already talked about this. Now, what are all the this automatic reinstatement of sum insured? Okay, one important what we have to remember is, if your policy is on Lagu or Sukshma basis and your sum insured exceeds, because this problem is coming practically also, and with the exam point of view, very much has been clarified by IRDA itself. If your sum insured is within 5 crores or 50 crores and your sum insured exceeds in the current currency of the policy, your policy need not be cancelled or changed, because a lot of people get worried in practice also. Now the policy sum insured was 48 crores in the currency of the policy increasing by 3 crores. So it is going to 51 crores. Now, whether to cancel this policy and issue SFSP, no. Till the expiry of the policy, even if the sum insured exceeds, the policy will be still Lagu or Sukshma. Reinstatement of sum insured, additional premium has to be collected and premium adjustment. So this reinstatement has to be done. All policies on reinstatement. Under insurance, SFSP was not waiving any under insurance. Lagu and Sukshma waive under insurance up to 15%. And under insurance, totally waived for Griha policy. No under insurance. Plant and machinery, what all it will include, we are aware. So plant and machinery, just examples they have been given. A little bit more clarification is given in Lagu and Sukshma policy. This applied to SFSP also, but so much clarity was not there. So if machine is on hire also, if machine under repair also, so foundation of machine also is covered. Accessories are also covered. Should be applicable to SFSP also, but the wordings were not clear in SFSP. More clarity in case of. So if you say machine, you will say whether the foundation is of civil, whether covered or not. So foundation is a most important part of installing a machine. So foundation is also can be covered, should be covered under the sum insured. Perils covered. Now some highlighted perils only we have to remember. Otherwise are common. Now perils covered. We have still seen SFSP initially. So you know spontaneous combustion was an exclusion from the definition of fire. Now spontaneous combustion is an inbuilt cover. So for Lagu or Sukshma, there is no need for spontaneous as an add-on cover. It is an inbuilt cover. So one difference, earthquake, volcanic eruption, there was add-on. Here it's not add-on, it's an basic cover. So there's no question of adding for earthquake. STFI is same, subsidence this is same, bushfire. Bushfire and forest fire has been, that confusion has been removed. SFSP forest fire is an add-on cover. But in Lagu Sukshma, everything is covered in the basic. Impact damage of any kind. So impact damage of any kind, vehicles, falling trees has been added. Because that falling trees was not added in the definition in the SFSP, they have added for more clarity. Now, if you see, you have understood the basic SFSP perils. Aircraft damage was a separate peril. It was covered, but listed separately. Now, this is not listed separately. It is added in this because it is as good as an impact damage. So, it is reduced. Perils have been reduced. Missile testing is same. Terrorism also was made inbuilt. Now that option has been given for us to delete terrorism. Okay. But basically, as per the IRDA guidelines, terrorism is an inbuilt cover under Lagu Sukshma policy. We are giving under Flexi policy option to delete terrorism. Correct. But basically, IRDA had made terrorism as an that is an exclusion. Yes. Somebody's asked.
Yes.
So we impact by of any kind by external damage. We have added aircraft damage, but the exclusion of aircraft of supersonic speed will still remain an exclusion. That does not change. Again, it will mean aircraft or any other aerial devices falling and direct physical loss. Anything due to vibration or supersonic speed is an exclusion only. There is no change in that. Okay. Another addition is theft within 7 days from the occurrence and approximately caused by any of the above insured events. Okay, theft within 7 days from occurrence is covered, but theft is not an independent cover. Like it is not that theft due to any other reason is covered. Theft within 7 days after the operation of insured event. So there is a fire, then within 7 days. There is a flood, after that within 7 days. So the burglary cover or theft cover is not burglary. That's why they've said theft. Because burglary requires breaking of the premises. Now, when the premises is already open due to flood or fire, that's why the word has been changed to theft. But mostly, I don't think people are claiming under this because they are not aware. Inbuilt covers, some inbuilt covers has been kept under Lagu Sukshma. Additions, alterations, and extensions up to 15%. So you can understand somewhat like omission to cover, that add-on under SFSP has been given free under this up to 15% of the sum insured. Any addition, alteration, extension. From the word you will know, addition, alteration or extension it says. It is not just change in the sum insured. So it is not applicable for stock. You cannot say I covered stock of 50 lakhs and now you consider 15%. No, it is for addition, alteration or extension, excluding stock. It indirectly means it is for building, plant and machinery and furniture fixture. Temporary removal of stock, given inbuilt cover, specific contents, money up to 50,000 and computer program information data up to 5 lakhs, personal effect of employees, directors up to 15,000 per person, but maximum 20%. This is all inbuilt cover given under Lagu and Sukshma policy. Startup expenses up to 5 lakhs, professional fees up to 5%, cost of removal of debris up to 2%, cost compelled by municipal regulation covered, any additional cost. Now, in case of startup expenses and removal of debris, there is difference in Lagu and Sukshma. Otherwise, what we have seen is common to Lagu and Sukshma. We just see this. Okay. Floater cover. In case of floater cover, floater is free. Floater cover is free under Sukshma. Floater cover is chargeable under Lagu policy. Under the 5 crore policy, floater cover has been given inbuilt free. Declaration policy. Now, declaration policy need not be given separately. Declaration policy benefit has been given within the policy. You have to just separately ask for that cover. So, in the Lagu Sukshma policy, you can cover the building and plant and machinery and stock on declaration basis under one policy. Some important what we have to see, policy is applicable for office, hotel, shop, industrial, manufacturing risk. Utilities located outside the compound, everything except residence is covered under Lagu or Sukshma. There is no difference like industry you have to give separate or non-industrial, all come under one only. Because this section 3 of tariff used to have non-industrial, has as per AIFT, has residence and non-industrial combined in section 3. But now as per Lagu and Sukshma, only residence is separated as Griha and all others under one policy. Griha has no sum insured limitation. Not that above 50 you have to give SFSP. It has no change or restriction on the sum insured. Effect of death of insured on this policy. If policy has been issued for individual, policy will continue for the benefit of legal representative under the end of the policy period. This is a clarity given, which clarity was not there in the AIFT. That what happens is if there is a death of the person in between in the currency of the policy, insured has not changed the name on the policy or transferred the policy or taken a new policy, the claim used to be refused, saying that insurable interest is somebody else and the property is on somebody else's name, or it is still the legal documents are not ready. So they have clarified that the legal representative can still get the claim until the end of the policy period. Only next year, the policy has to be corrected. Sum insured exceeds 50 crores or below 5 crores during the policy period, you can still continue. Cancellation of insured, cancellation by insured 10% to be retained in the event of pro rata plus 10%. Because pro rata plus 10% is as good as short period scale. Cancellation of insurer. This as per IRDA guideline. Now, simply insurer cannot cancel for no reason. If there is fraud or non-cooperation, non-disclosure, then why we should give refund? So no refund. So cancellation by insurer, no refund, because insurer also will not have a right to cancel the policy for any other reason. So it is as good as we are saying policy can be cancelled by the insurance company only if there is fraud or misrepresentation. In such case, why there should be a refund? There will be no refund. This is correct. So we see these are common, so we will not see the common points. It came with effect from 1/4/21. Then what is the subject matter? Everything can be covered. Premium was EQ, STFI, terrorism. Floater cover for stock. No deletion of EQ or STFI. Now we are, so both policies allow declaration policy. Both Lagu and Sukshma will allow declaration, but there is no, like SFSP, there is no name of the policy as declaration policy. You have to just click the option of declaration policy within the Lagu Sukshma policy. That how that provision has been kept may differ from company to company, like because the programming may be different, but the both policies allow declaration policy under Lagu and Sukshma. So floater cover for stock can be given, declaration can be given, cancellation and refund this we have seen. Addition alteration 15%, same for both policies. This is same for both policies. Now here there is a difference. Startup expenses is 1 lakh and professional fees is 5%. Removal of debris is 2%. Okay. Now what was here? This is Sukshma. If you see Lagu, startup expenses 5 lakhs, professional expenses 5%, removal of debris 2%. In professional fees, there is no difference. Startup expenses 5 lakhs become 1 lakh. Cost of removal of debris 2% becomes 1%. Right? Debris is also same. So only there is difference in startup expenses. Otherwise, all built-in covers are same. Only floater cover under Sukshma is by default, but under Lagu you have to charge the 10% and opt for it. Declaration policy for stock is there, same, no difference. No reduction in sum insured. Like you will see, most of the principles of insurance will not change because it is Lagu or Sukshma policy. Graha Raksha also started at the same time. Now there is one difference that you will have to take the area correctly. Dwellings can be society or individual. No maximum sum insured limit. Terrorism is covered. Long-term policy restricted to 10 years now. We used to have what unlimited 20 years, 25 years, and long-term policies are allowed for 10 years only. There is one major difference in long-term policy, that there is no discount given in the long-term policy. There is no discount given on long-term policy. But we had this option before also, which maximum nobody was utilizing. We had two options in SFSP. One is you opt for a long-term policy with discount. You opt for a long-term policy without discount. If you opt for without discount, then what was the benefit? Every year your sum insured was increased by 10%. But mostly the long-term policies are taken by people for only for the financial purpose. So without bothering about underinsurance. So the other option is actually beneficial to the insured, that it increases the sum insured every year. So now for this Lagu and Sukshma, that option itself has been removed, that you take the discounted. You don't take discount, but your sum insured every year will increase by 10%. So underinsurance is not applicable. Basis of sum insured is always RIV. How to arrive at RIV? Carpet area into construction cost. Now carpet area into construction cost. Construction cost, because the policy is on RIV, construction cost has to be today's construction cost. Carpet area has to be correct and not incorrect. If it is incorrect, it will affect the claim. No policy excess at all. In our old policy had excess, now there is no excess. Proposal form provides for nomination. Building includes furniture, fixtures and fitting. Because this was used to be some claim confusion. Because we say fixtures and fitting come in furniture, fixtures and fitting, FFF, treated as contents. And sometimes fixtures and fittings are coming with the building. Then it used to be a part of the building sum insured. Then that dispute will be there, covered or not covered. So clarified that dwelling includes fixtures and fitting. So no, if the sum insured is sufficient, no dispute for claim. Any garage, outhouse, parking space, compound wall, retaining walls, internal walls, everything can be covered, provided sum insured is adequate. Features: automatic escalation. The option of discount has been removed, but automatic escalation. Whether insured is aware or not, that automatic escalation is there of 10% every year. So for annual policy also, there is escalation of 10%, not only for the long-term policy. That means your policy sum insured increases on daily basis, like what we have seen escalation add-on. Reinstatement of sum insured has to be done. So reinstatement of sum insured has to be done on any policy, whether it is old policy, new policy. Built-in cover for general contents. Up to 20% general contents are automatically covered, and up to 10 lakhs. And if the policy is taken for building and contents, you can't take building policy and then say contents was covered up to 20%. Opt for building and contents, up to 20% of the building sum insured is covered. Then over and above that, additional pay. RIV valuation, that is now for all policies, it is going to be RIV valuation. Griya Raksha, every content can be covered. Only this policy in the wording itself gives more elaborate definition of which was not there in SFSP. Valuable contents, what can be covered as valuable contents? So they said, like you will say valuable contents, carpets, work of art, which was not specified in SFSP, it is more specified. Non-covered contents. So you cannot say unset precious stones, manuscripts. Vehicles can never be covered, explosives. Now, what is the difference? Earthquake, bushfire, this we have already seen. The covers are the same. Again, here it is, though not elaborated, it is external, all external objects has been put in impact damage of any kind. It simply means two add-ons have been combined. It does not relax any of the cover. So aircraft damage, all that, not supersonic speed and all exclusion will remain. Missile testing, operation, riot, strike, cover, this all is there. Theft within 7 days is there. Now, excluding any article or thing outside the insured dwelling premises. Any article or thing attached from outside or the outer wall unless securely mounted. It happens something is kept on the terrace, whether it falls as a covered as a part of the dwelling. So very specifically it says theft cover 7 days from the occurrence and proximately caused by above insured events, but it excludes any article or thing outside the insured's dwelling unless it is very outer walls of the roof of the insured dwelling, unless it is securely mounted. If it is securely mounted and falls in the sum insured, then it has to be covered, of course. If it is covered, then it can be covered for theft also. Built-in covers are rent for alternate accommodation and rent for loss of rent was add-on under SFSP. Now this is covered. General contents we have seen. Architect surveyors fees 5%, debris removal 2%. Optional covers. I think PA cover was not there. So PA cover has been given as an optional cover for insured and spouse up to 9. It is fixed of 5 lakhs. Important points to remember. Accidental insurance due to the perils covered under the policy. Not due to any. It's not a PA like other independent PA. It's a PA due to fire perils covered under the policy. And cover for valuable contents. These are optional covers. So PA cover you have to be, and I think somewhere it is clarified that it is cover for insured and spouse. Okay, it is not for only insured. It is insured and spouse. Exclusions, the common exclusions will not see. This all exclusions are there. We need not see the exclusions. See, any addition, extension, alteration to the structure of the dwelling, not more than 10%. So we say carpet area has to be shown against the current construction cost. But however, any addition, extension, or alteration of any structure of the dwelling that increases its carpet area by more than 10% is an exclusion. It indirectly means difference up to 10% will be considered, covered under the policy. Because sometimes with some permission, FSI may be changed, some construction in the balcony or somewhere, and the carpet area may differ. So up to 10% is covered, above 10% is an exclusion. Same has been highlighted so that you stress on those. The common exclusions you need not see. We just see the comparison of 3 products. SFSP had option of market value and reinstatement value. New policies, no option. Reinstatement of sum insured after the loss is termed different meaning at 2 places. So it is correction has been made in the new products. It is made restoration of sum insured. So then this makes more clear. No, this is more clarity is there. It is not reinstatement of sum insured after the loss. It is restoration of the sum insured after the loss. Earthquake is add-on under SFSP, inbuilt under new policies. Architect surveyors fees and removal of debris covered up to 3 and 1% under SFSP, which is 5% and 2% under new products. Forest fire was an add-on cover. Now the cover is bush, forest, jungle, everything in new policy. Theft within 7 days was not there. It is covered under new products. Loss of rent or alternate accommodation. Both were add-on under SFSP, which is now covered under Griha Raksha policy. For the sum insured, choose it. Opt for sum insured. Escalation is an add-on cover under SFSP, but under Griha policy, increase in automatic increase up to 10% is there. Under insurance, strictly applicable under SFSP, which is not applicable under Griha Raksha policy at all. No under insurance. And waived up to 15% for Laghu and Sukshma policy. Comparison of 3 products. Aircraft damage is a separate peril, whereas aircraft has been combined with impact damage. Fire peril under SFSP excluded own fermentation, natural heating and spontaneous combustion. Under Laghu and Sukshma policies, fire definition itself includes the own fermentation, natural heating and spontaneous combustion. So add-on is not required. Terrorism was covered with extra premium, which is covered as insured event under new policy. Cancellation allows cancellation by both insured and insurer. But new policies will not be cancelled unless by insurer unless there is misrepresentation or fraud. Except long-term policy can be cancelled. It can be cancelled after the total loss and refund can be given. Because if there is a long-term policy, 10 years, and the property is destroyed, then insurance company cannot refuse it. It has to cancel and refund for the remaining period. It's important. There are some questions which can be, before the questions, we see this. Just a repetition, but fire tariff contains 8 sections. No discount or agency commission, no discount on agency commission, right? Like some products we have, we know that agency commission discount can be given, but in fire, no agency commission discount can be given. Declaration policy only for stock. This is a repetition just to stress. Reduction in sum insured is not allowed. It can be increased, but any number of times. Cancellation by insured, we know short period. Insurer pro data that applies to SFSP. Now we have seen the proviso for cancellation by insurance company. Increase pro rata, decrease short period retention. Basis of declaration are 2 types. Average of value on each day of the month. Highest value on each day of the month. Highest value at risk during the month. Okay. No declaration. If in declaration policy, no declaration is given, then what will be considered? Temporary sheds during monsoon solely for monsoon protection. No kacha extra need to be taken. This is more, I think, in practice, it is required that any temporary shed only for during monsoon, we immediately charge extra, need not be charged. Provided there is no storage, then we can. Storage, it becomes risky. Policy cancellation due to government, we have seen this. Completion of building in course of construction, then if this policy is to be cancelled, then we can give pro rata refund. Because you are converting it into a fire policy. Demolition also can be given pro rata refund if there is some reason for demolition. Escalation is not restricted to reinstatement value policies. Escalation clause is applicable for market value policy or reinstatement value policy, even if it is SFSP. If we take the example of 300 crore policy, opted for market value or opted for reinstatement basis. In both cases, escalation clauses can be opted, because we feel that when the reinstatement policy is already opted, why escalation is necessary? Of course, chances reduce, but still there can be, after taking reinstatement also, there can be need for escalation in sum insured. Automatic in sum insured under escalation clause operates from day 1. Floater policy, if there are different stocks in a floater policy, mixed stock, then highest rate of stock plus 10% loading. Because then you don't know what will be kept more, what will be kept less. Floater policy, we are not charging for any kacha, but if all are kacha, then we have to think whether to accept or not. STFI perils are known as wind-related perils, and flood and inundation are known as water-related perils. Machinery and removed for 60 days. We have seen policies voidable. Okay. Fall or displacement should be notified if it is more than 7 days. Alteration of trade or manufactured should be obtained sanction, or it has to be informed to the insurance company. Otherwise, because the rate will change. Arbitration. Okay, we have covered most of this. This is one question. Sometime it was asked. Incendiarism is fire maliciously set by intruders. This, you can just remember, you can see the dictionary definition. This is the definition. Sometimes it was asked. It is asked because we don't come to know, means we don't generally see this. So trying to find something different. So this was asked 1 or 2 times. Fire maliciously set by intruders. On the basis of occupancies, fire load has been specified as under. This was also asked sometimes. Low fire load, moderate fire load, high fire load. Generally, this comes when we see PML or when risk is inspected, high sum insured risk is inspected, to know what is our PML or how risky is the proposal. No premium for designation clause. It is just a clause. Multiple occupancy in an industrial estate will be rated per se. Per se rating means each one will be rated as per its occupancy. Okay, if only one this is not there, we'll not see this 1.80 per million. Now, after the non-tariff and all, we cannot consider this condition. 4 we can ignore. Silent risk is allowed only under section 4 or 5. Silent risk, some people want to give for go down. No, that's not for go down. It is for industrial only. Okay. Storage rate, and this we have seen. Storage rate or the silent risk rate, whichever is higher, will have to be applied if there is storage. If there is no storage, then silent risk can be applied. But if there is storage, then storage rate and the silent risk, whichever is higher, will have to be applied. No discount should be given. So there are certain questions. I think before that, we'll see these questions you can go through, like as and when this PPT will be shared. Now, is there anything, any doubts? Any doubts? You can raise hand and yes. Any doubts? You can raise hand or you can unmute yourself and ask. These questions you can, of course, it's a part of this. You can go through later also. Yes. I can see somebody. Any doubt? Yes. You can unmute yourself. I think Ram raised hand. Can you unmute or I have to unmute?
Yes. Ma'am, depreciation is applicable on reinstatement value basis or not?
Sorry, please repeat.
Depreciation is applicable on
Escalation.
reinstatement value.
Did you say escalation?
No, depreciation, ma'am.
Depreciation?
Is applicable on reinstatement value basis policy or not?
No, you are going to the very basic definition of what is market value and what is reinstatement value. If
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have purchased something for 5 rupees, today's depreciated value is 3 rupees, but instead of 5, it is today now available at 8 rupees. So 8 rupees is your reinstatement value. Now you want to cover your policy at market value, then you go for 3 rupees. You want to cover at reinstatement, then you are going for 8 rupees. Today's cost, you purchase something, machinery for 3 lakhs, but today the value is 8 lakhs. You want 8 lakhs to be at the time of claim. So you are opting for a reinstatement value policy. So then there is no question of depreciation. If it's a market value policy or in other terms known as indemnity policy, then depreciation gets deducted. But you have to, as in the new policy, you are bound to cover by reinstatement value. You have no option to cover at lower value. So if the insured has covered at a depreciated value and the actual value is higher, then if you say that you will settle the claim without depreciation, then sum insured is lower. So obviously there is going to be under insurance. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You are saying on the reinstatement value policy, I am saying claim settlement is without depreciation, right?
Yes, right, sir.
But if the sum insured opted is on a lower side,
Yes,
then,
ma'am.
then no depreciation, but there will be a heavy
average
under insurance. So
average
penalty will be there. Because this side, some question, some insured will also ask. Okay, you have given me policy on reinstatement. So you are not supposed to deduct depreciation. Okay. We are not deducting depreciation, but you are covering at a market value. So the term will change. There will be heavy 80% under insurance. I am not using it. I am not applying a depreciation, but I cannot give you more for lower sum insured, right? So all conditions have to be seen together. Under insurance and reinstate. Correct. This is correct. Reinstatement settlement is without depreciation.
Yes.
But your sum insured also has to be adequate, no?
Adequate.
If your sum insured is not adequate, then it is falling under insurance.
Under insurance.
Correct. Somewhere to will be penalized.
Another query, ma'am.
Yes.
Midterm insured is a floater policy. Midterm insured is asking for the addition of another location.
Yes, it can be done.
That falls under higher EQ zone. So what will we can charge the premium?
Then see, falls under higher EQ zone.
EQ zone.
Then
Earlier his location falls under the zone 4. Now he
Yes.
can add 2 locations and they fall under the section EQ zone 3rd and 2.
so if you are speaking practically, okay, if you are speaking practically, what happens is higher EQ zone and stock is floating, right?
Yes.
So one location added, but you will have to charge EQ on the entire stock,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
you consider that this was declared first only at the time of taking the policy. Then
Yes.
you would have charged highest EQ zone, because your total stock can float among any locations. Then you cannot charge the lower EQ because he has one higher. You would have charged the highest zone on the total sum insured. So
Yes.
if a location is added which is falling in whatever EQ zone you have considered, then no
Yes.
premium.
Yes.
But if your EQ zone is changing, then premium on the total sum insured will have to be charged.
From inception or in
It
mid-term?
will have to be charged from inception, because there is no provision of charging short period earthquake premium.
Okay. Okay.
So I would say advisable for that one location, you take one policy till the expiry of the policy, then add all locations under at the time of renewal.
Yes. Okay.
If you are speaking from the exam, then the total premium will have to be paid,
From
because
inception.
there is no provision to add midterm EQ cannot be added, no?
Yes.
Midterm EQ premium cannot be charged on a pro rata basis.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So
Right.
can go for a separate policy and then add at the time of
Renewal.
renewal.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Can condition of average be waived or avoided in any SFSP or IR policies other than the new products? It cannot be waived. But why are you asking this question? Just for exam purpose, or you have seen somewhere? Is this Karthik? From the exam, it is no. But if you are asking because, okay, then exam, then no. Because in the now in the market, with the international market, brokers are coming with lot of add-ons, and they will come with any add-ons. And sometimes with approval and all, we might do something. But now we are talking of exam, so you take it as no. Condition average cannot be waived in SFSP or IR. Absolutely, it cannot be. So the answer is no. Okay. What is ALOP? Numerical ALOP. Advance loss of profit. Okay, consequential loss you were seeing. Oh, that because there is something ALOP also. We will similar to your FLOP that we will be covering under engineering. Is that this? Are you referring to this? Turnover, no? Turnover then must be this. What was the question?
Indemnity period and 12 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 3 lakhs profit. That question.
Example.
That is
Yeah. First, for understanding the example, you have to understanding the terms properly. You have to understand the terms properly. We will repeat that. What is annual turnover? Exactly before the date of loss. So we are saying indemnity period starts from date of loss. So you can take as date of loss is 1/6/20. Then 1/6/20 to 30/10/20 is your indemnity period. That is the period required to restore your work once again. So 1 year before your incident, 1/6/2009 to 35/20 is your exactly 1 year 12 months before the indemnity period. This 12 months will be always 12 months irrespective of indemnity period. Standard turnover is your exact indemnity period, only change the year. If you remember, a standard turnover is indemnity period, you change the year, 1 year before. Okay, now you go to the problem. Turnover in the last financial year was 12 lakhs. Gross profit, that is the sum insured under the policy, 3 lakhs. Period of indemnity opted is 12 months. Annual turnover is 16 lakhs. That means annual turnover before the loss and the last year financial year turnover, which may be April to March, 1 year before, was 12 lakhs only, but there must be growth in the business. So the turnover has become 16 lakhs. Standard turnover is 10 lakhs. That means in the indemnity period, last year in the indemnity period, this year 6 months indemnity, 12 months. Last year the standard turnover was 10 lakhs. In the indemnity period, the turnover during the interruption period. See, maybe I feel maybe you're getting confused. Maybe you're getting confused because period of indemnity opted is 12 months. Okay. But need not be same in the interruption. While paying premium, insured is opting for 12 months, but sometimes the work starts within the 12 months. So it can get reduced. Opted is 12 months. Okay. Turnover in the interruption period is 4 lakhs and standard turnover was 10 lakhs. So how much reduced? See the step 2 first. Shortage in turnover is 10 lakhs minus 4 lakhs. So last year turnover was 10 lakhs. This year is 4 lakhs. So 6 lakhs difference. Why we are not paying 6 lakhs? Because this is the turnover. What the reduction in turnover? We are trying to pay only the gross profit. So how much is the gross profit? How do we know? We are calculating gross profit into last year's turnover. We are arriving at a percentage. So every last year's gross profit percentage on the turnover was 25%. So on 6 lakhs, we should be paying 25%. That is 1,50,000. We should be paying 1,50,000. Now, why we are not paying 1,50,000? Reason is here. We have calculated gross profit against the financial year turnover, 25%. But actual annual turnover has increased. The business had an increasing trend. So if date of loss, if we go back, if the turnover was 16 lakhs, whereas last financial year was 12 lakhs, but annual turnover was 16 lakhs, then we are arriving at the 16 lakhs, 25% would have become 4 lakhs. So the sum insured should have been 4 lakhs. So 3 lakhs divided by 4 lakhs into loss 150. We would have paid 150. Now we are paying 1 to 500. We are dividing actual policy sum insured divided by 4 lakhs, which should have been the gross profit, should have been the sum insured, and that we are directly applying on the amount payable. You can do it separately also, that 3 lakh divided by 4 lakh, you arrive at a percent, then that percent you apply on 150. Your amount payable got reduced from 150 to 112. Why it got reduced? Because your annual turnover was higher, whereas your last year turnover, which you considered for gross profit, was only 12 lakhs. So first step, you have to remove the gross profit percentage. How you will go if it comes in the example with these figures given? First you calculate gross profit 3 lakhs. Now don't see the next slide. Turnover 12 lakhs, gross profit 3 lakhs. So it is 25%. Now standard turnover 10 lakhs, actual turnover 4 lakhs, difference 6 lakhs. On 6 lakhs you pay the gross profit percent 25%. On 6 lakh 25% you are supposed to pay. Now you are checking whether there is under insurance. Yes, annual turnover 6 lakh, turnover your last year 12 lakhs. So there is underinsurance. So underinsurance applied on the amount payable. You can once first apply the underinsurance, the difference between 3 and 4, and then apply it on 1,50,000, arriving at a percent, then applying it. So this is a direct calculation. Is that okay? Anything else? Is it allowed to change the risk location during the currency of the policy based on insured request? Policy will have to be cancelled. How can you change the risk location? Risk location changing, what you understand by risk location changing? A factory is built somewhere. Can the risk location be changed like that? Can the risk location be changed? A factory is built at a survey number. See, as you say in Mediclaim, name is important and not address of the person, right? Today I am staying somewhere, tomorrow I am staying somewhere else. Does it matter for Mediclaim? It doesn't matter. Name, gender, age matters. If there is a difference in the name, claim cannot be paid, right? But if you are saying for fire policy, location is the something that is the important thing in the policy. If your policy says your factory address is this, location address is the factory address, no? Or your residence. If my residence is in a particular place, I cannot use that policy for another location by passing an endorsement also. Not informed, absolutely claim will be rejected. And informed also, there is no provision for endorsement. The policy will have to be cancelled and you go for a new policy. You change of location can never be there under fire policy. See, I think if you have understood, we are saying temporary removal of stock, temporary removal of machinery. Why all this? Because sometimes there is a need for the insured to send this machinery or some contents for fabrication to some other person. And we are trying to cover that in the another location only for that purpose. That add-on says that temporary removal of stock for fabrication is covered at another location, provided it is for that purpose and only up to a fixed number of days and only 10% of the stock. Policy total location can never be changed. We said the same thing to the insured. Okay. It was a practical thing that happened. Okay. I think you have my number. If there is we are today seeing from the exam point of view, practically sometimes some very vague and unexpected queries come. So you can also, it is matter of like just something more we can do beyond this exam preparation also. You can always take my number and we can discuss. If there is any particular practical experience. Okay. Is there somebody asking reinstatement value and reinstatement condition?
Yes.
Is it cleared or the query is still there?
Hello,
Yeah, who is asking?
myself Sanjay Rohila speaking.
But here the name is something different. Archana. Okay,
I
yes.
Ma'am, there
Okay,
is one question.
yes.
If the person has a residential Bharat Grah Raksha policy and there is some shop or any other activity in the ground floor,
Okay,
the person is operating some industrial activity or shop or like that on the ground floors, and the residential is on first or second floor, then what will be, which one policy will be given by us?
your residence has to be given residence and shop will have to be given shop. You have a residence on first floor, you have shop on the ground floor, both owned by A.
If they are same, yeah, okay, ma'am.
still a residence has to be rated as a residence, shop has to be rated as this. Now,
Okay.
if you are saying that I am running a shop in my residence,
Okay.
then however you rate it as shop, there will be a problem with do you have a license.
Mm-hmm.
If you are rating it as a residence, claim will be rejected because you are not supposed to run a shop in a residence.
Okay.
So first thing what you have to ask the insured is, if you are running a shop on the ground floor and you have a residence on the first floor, both are owned by one person. Okay.
Okay.
You cannot rate shop as a residence and you cannot rate residence as shop. Both has to be. Now, if you combine under one policy and rate it differently with two blocks, okay, that's a practical solution.
Okay.
Rating has to be done as shop separately and residence separately. Now, if he is running a shop without a license, in either case, only rating also doesn't serve the purpose. You know,
Okay.
I am rating, I am saying this is a factory and you are giving a declaration. So insurance company is rating as factory or shop. At the time of claim, license will be asked, shop act license. If you say I am running a shop, but I don't have a license, there will
This
be
will
a
be the
problem
issue.
with the claim, no? So occupancy is different, and whether you are implied condition of what it is occupied as should be as per your agreement or as per what you have purchased it as, no? You cannot purchase it as a residence and use it for commercial purpose.
Okay.
Right, so rate is as separately as shop and residence separately. While underwriting, some companies may have a provision of giving different rates within a policy, and but your Griha policy will not help you to add shop in that policy. You will have to give two separate only. Better to give two separate policies,
Two
but
separate policies
tell
for
the
shop and
insured that
residence.
he is rating as shop. Does
Okay.
not mean that he will get a claim, provided he has a shop license for that, shop act license.
Okay.
Some areas may have some, you know, the Zilla Parishad may have some other, but some license has to be there.
Okay. Ma'am, one thing more.
Yes.
As you have, we have a feature of personal accident in Bharat Graha Raksha policy.
Yes, yes.
There are sometimes properties in the name of joint name, husband, wife, father, son, or like that.
Yes,
And we
both
have
will be covered because it says insured and spouse.
insured and spouse. That means 5 lakh for each.
Each.
5 multiplied 2, 10 lakhs will be the sum insured for them.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And one thing more, if the carpet area is under declared by the party.
Under declared by party, there will be a loss to the insured because surveyor will calculate as per what is declared under the policy.
But
Carpet
he has
area
taken
is
the
1,000.
policy. But he has taken the policy and higher sum insured.
No. That should not happen. Carpet area is 1,200 and value taken as 5 lakh. Okay, total value taken as 5 lakh. And he has adjusted while underwriting the policy, the value. Okay. Value is taken on a higher side, but your carpet area is lower, shown lower, which is actually, which should have been actually 1,500. Shown as 1,200. Your total value is correct. Surveyor will give your claim on 1,200 only. Because this has already been clarified by IRDA. There is no matter of opinion here.
Okay.
You see the original underwriting guidelines. It says that if you say 1,500 correct carpet area and you take whatever you rate as 5,000
per square meter
as 5,000. If this goes wrong or this is on higher side, he will get whatever is the correct today, provided your sum insured is sufficient. Taken on a lower side, will get lower.
Somewhere I have read it that whatever the insured has declared, prevailing the more than the market price. Suppose he has declared 10,000 rupees per square meter, and the insured has opted for 15,000 square meter. And the surveyor confirms that the market prevailing price is 12,000 per square meter.
Yes.
Then we will have to pay as per 15,000 per square meter.
No,
Because the
you
insured-
over insurance. Why over insurance? That's over
But he has,
insurance. No?
but he has paid the premium, ma'am, for that.
No, he will pay on
Policy
any
is-
exorbitant amount.
This is the thing. This is somewhere written in the policy also.
No. See, what is written in the policy? Why that interpretation? Because it is written in the policy that it should be decided at the time of taking the policy. Okay.
Mhm.
So somewhere it is putting a responsibility on the insurance company
Yes.
to ensure what he is giving is correct.
Mm. We should.
So, insurance company. So he is giving whatever 50,000 per square meter.
Mhm.
Okay. That is exorbitantly given. Okay. Surveyor is saying not 50,000, it should have been 10,000.
Yes.
Okay. Now, here, insured also knows it is not 50,000. It should have been 10 or 12 or whatever. But only because he has incorrectly shown as 50,000 to get a claim of some few lakhs more.
Yes.
That does not make him eligible for this. You can always challenge here, show where it is as per the whatever government and index and all. Now, if there is a little difference, 10 and 12 and 11 and all,
Mhm.
here the insured can take a legal stand saying that your policy wording says that it is mutually to be agreed by insurance and insurance. So there is a slight legal wording there that insurance company also is responsible. So if the insured had given 50,000, where it is 10 or 12,000, it was even our responsibility to tell him that time that you are unnecessary taking. So it also somewhere indirectly says that insurance company also should be alert.
But how can we justify the same at the time of issuing the policy? That way,
So
if the
true, you
insured
cannot,
is
why
saying,
you cannot justify? You check the market rate.
no, ma'am, something, there is a no scope for residential complexes, whatever may be the cost. For example, we suppose the person has
So
installed.
see, there is terms and condition given by IRDA and
Mhm.
whatever policy wording. Now, are you not going from the exam point of view today?
No, ma'am, I just taking the clarification.
So anything other than that, we can have
No.
some discussion other time. Let us today focus on exam.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
Okay. Yes,
Thank you.
sure. But I am still open for discussion any other time.
No
Okay.
issue, ma'am. No issue.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're from which office?
I am from New India, Rewari, Haryana.
Okay. These problems will come. We have to see what best we can do to avoid disputes. Right?
No, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Yes. Anything else? Has raised? Yes, you can unmute. Somebody is raised hand. Satish? I can't see this where hand is raised. Satish R as no, because I don't think post. Anyone else wants to know anything from the exam point of view? Other discussion can be done some other time. Yes. Yes, okay. If there is anything else also, you can send. Mail ID will also be shared, right? After going through, this will be shared. PPT will be shared. So after going through, there are some questions also. Anybody has any doubt, you can, okay, send a mail. Okay. Wish you all the best. Okay. Shall we close? Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for the patient hearing, and wish you all the best.